centre forwards need to push up hard up to the wing and get their marks on the wing. They don't have any influence on the game when they're getting the ball up on the wing. You hardly find Nick Riewoldt getting up to the wing these days. He's playing closer to home. Travis Cloke needs to play closer to home and cut his possessions down. He's getting 18, 20 possessions every week, but I think it'd be more value if he only got 12 or 15, stayed closer to goal and was having shots at goal and being the main focal point down there. The wings are for the half-back players and the centre-line players to run into to collect the ball, and Travis Cloke, he just needs to work his opponent up there, then back, do a big arc, get back. And the reason why he needs to perform tonight is because Crode is out of this side. He's obviously retired. He's not playing anymore. He's the obvious choice. But Gibson's out. They got Gibson as their number one defender to go to play on the big forwards. Now, Travis Cloke is probably Collingwood's most important forward.
Well, his best is very good. Leading goal scorer in 07. Copeland medalist, had 54 and he won the best and fairest Brownie. 9 times goalless last year.
Out of contract, 2 boys now. Supposedly the Gold Coast are keen. We're not sure whether that's true or not. But at the moment, Brownie, he would need the lift to command a decent contract for next year.
Oh, exactly. In 2008, he kicked 40 goals, 25. 2009, he only kicked 22. 2007, he kicked 39. But you look at the Hawthorn list tonight and you look at who he's going to go to him. There's Schoenmakers, there's Gillum, there's Thomas Murphy. They don't have a number one defender to go to Travis Cloke. So tonight is the night where he has to stand up for the Collingwood Football Club, because if they lose this game, they're under big pressure, the Pies. They've won the first game, they've fell in just against Melbourne, and then last week they've kicked themselves out of a game. So they could be in some real dire straits if they don't win this game tonight. Travis Cloke needs to stand up. He needs to take this game by the balls, I guess. And with Hawthorn having no proper centre half back or full back to cover him, I think he should stand up and do the job tonight.
Brownie, we talked about Travis Cloke winning the best and fairest in 2007. He didn't lead the goal scoring. A man that the MCG is farewelling now did, Anthony Rocca. He kicked 54 in 07. Nice send-off for Anthony Rocca. He's been in the US, I think, hasn't he?
Superstar, really. And I think we underrate Big Pebbles. I think he was almost a great of the game. Never quite got to that stage because he did the Achilles, but a fitting reward for a fantastic player. And wouldn't the Pies love him out there now, because he could slot him from 55, 60, whereas Cloke's spraying him from everywhere.
How many games did he play, Baz?
242. He was certainly a wonderful contributor to the Magpies for a long period of time.
And I still think Travis Cloke played his better football when Anthony Rocca was in the side, because Anthony Rocca used to take the best defender and Travis Cloke could get on his bike and do all the things he needed to do, knowing that there was a long get-out kick to Anthony Rocca down the square. Now, the other guy that I'm having a look at tonight is Paul Medhurst. Now, I'm a big fan of this guy. I think he's weird. He's very weird. He's a very weird man, Paul Medhurst. He paints his toenails. He puts makeup on sometimes. Now, that's weird stuff. When he goes out to nightclubs, I've seen him in eyeshadow and all, so he's weird. You know, that's very weird. Yeah, that's eyeshadow. I don't lie. There's one thing I don't do is Mick Malthouse. I don't lie. That's
I got a feeling there's a few texts coming.
But he is. We had a caller in before asking about John Anthony, or Jack Anthony, whatever Jack calls himself these days. But he is keeping John Anthony out of this side at the moment. And tonight's a night where he needs to turn on. He was very good in round 1, but since then he doesn't deal well with someone playing him tight one-on-one, Paul Medhurst. When he has someone tight playing one-on-one, he sort of drops his head a bit. He doesn't work as hard, and he tries to get his goals a little bit easier. He doesn't do the hard work in running up, getting back to front and square of the contest. He tries to get his goals too easily when he's getting a real hard tag. So he needs to learn how to push through that a little bit more. He's much of a confidence player.
Well, Brownie, Travis Cloke, going back to your first, has kicked 1-1 in 3 rounds. Paul Medhurst 4-1-0. Very quiet last Friday night, a few of them.
Almost best on ground round 1, but the Bulldogs had Dale Morris out, the glove, who was going to play on Medhurst, so he slipped under the guard there. But I reckon he's a super player, Medhurst. He sparks Collingwood, one of the best goal kickers around. We talk about Cloke not kicking enough goals. He doesn't miss many.
I've watched him closely the last 2 weeks, and what he hasn't done the last 2 weeks is lead at the football. He is a very quick player. He's a very good mark, and at the moment he's trying to wrestle his opponents. He's trying to body them one-on-one and have the ball kicked long to him. He needs to start getting on the lead, because he's such a very good leap. He's got a very good springboard, and he can get up above and take the marks. He should play well tonight. For another reason, Hawthorn, they're rolling zone. When I used to play against Hawthorn, when they played this rolling zone, you knew you were a chance to get on the end of it, because they actually don't play on you that often. So you're a chance to get off them, and if you work hard enough and you get in the right spots and the Collingwood midfield get the ball through that zone, he's going to get a lot of football. He's going to get a few looks because they don't actually play on you. It's very easy to get a kick against Hawthorn. Not easy to score, obviously, but it's easy to get a kick if you want to work hard. And tonight he should pop up in holes. He should work hard. He should lead, present at the ball, and use his spring, use his smarts, It's a perfect night for him to showcase his talents. And I think he's a 3 or 4 goal player tonight and should be the difference in the game.
We kicked 50 in 08 when he made the All-Australian team, was second in the best and fairest. He's twice the leading goal scorer at Freo. What would you expect from Paul Medhurst, Steve-O, assuming fully fit?
He needs to kick 40 this year for a pass mark, because last year injuries, he's had a great pre-season. He looked fantastic in round 1. Collingwood need him to kick 40 to make the top 6, I would have thought.
And going on, ideally, Anthony and Medhurst go in the same team together. They've played together before and it's worked. Didak running from half forward into the midfield as well. But all the goal kicking is going to come on Medhurst, it's going to come on Cloke, and it's coming on Anthony. Now, if those three don't have big seasons, kick 30, 40 goals each, Collingwood can't win the flag because they don't have the goal-scoring power. So they have to rely on these guys. And we've seen with the Bulldogs over the last few years without a key forward, they've shared the load with Murphy, they've shared the load with Johnson, these sort of guys, Hill, and they've all kicked 20, 25, 30, Ackermanis, but they just haven't had that big forward come September where they can take control and just bomb it long to. Travis Cloke needs to be that guy, and Paul Medhurst needs to be the X factor, the game breaker, who can take Collingwood to the next step.
So back on Jack Anthony to address some of the texts and the caller earlier. Does he fit into the forward 6 with Cloke, Medhurst, Didak? I mean, can he find a spot for him?
Yeah, I would have thought so, because Medhurst more plays tall and small. He's more that leading sort of smallish player. I think there is room for Anthony and Cloke. I think the problem with Anthony is he doesn't play well against the good players. A guy like Brian Lake stitches him up. If he cops a Scarlett or someone like that, he tends to get goals, cheaper goals against the worse opposition. But he's a great kick, and I'm surprised he's not in the side.
At the moment, Jack Anthony's a one-trick pony. That's his only problem. He needs to develop something else in his game that when he's not kicking goals, they say, well, he's doing this or he's doing that, or he's getting up to the wing and he's working hard and he's setting up goals. At the moment, he's not setting up goals. He's only kicking them, and if he's not kicking them, he's not doing anything. So he's got to add a few strings to his bow, because at the moment he's just a one-trick pony. But he fits into that forward line, I think, with Medhurst, with Didak, with Davis and Cloke.
Well, he kicked 50 last year, 5 bags of 4s. He was sort of the saviour for a while there.
He kicked the winning goal, of course, against Adelaide out here in the final, but the funny thing is he barely touched it before that, so he was kind of the hero at the end of the night, but was exposed in some ways as well. The other guy I'm interested in is Dale Thomas. I want to see him rip a game apart. I mean, he's got all the class, all the skill in the world, gets a lot of publicity for his output, I believe, and I think his time has arrived.
He is in the same boat as Daniel Wells, I'd imagine, has not delivered yet.
I cannot wait to see Neon Leon tonight on the MCG. It's perfect conditions for him. Both of the teams' banners are lying down. They're about to be upright and the teams are about to come out. Saturday night football as the umpires come into this Coliseum. It is Collingwood and Hawthorn, and when we return, Nathan Brown and Mark Stevens are going to give us the thoughts on who wins and why. It's a great night just to listen to Triple M. For Bridgestone, this is the footy preview, and thanks to McDonald's, Triple M rocks football.
Triple M footy's back tomorrow from noon with Geelong and Port Adelaide.
And Selwood kicks a goal. Magnificent stuff from the Geelong forwards.
Followed by St Kilda and Fremantle.
Nicky Dowell got it off to Snyder. Standing start, got it. That's deep. That is Mountainous Chief.
Join the Chief, Billy, Croft, Quarters, Hamish and all the team. For McDonald's, Triple M rocks football. Rocks football.
The bloody oath of the hard yakka apprentice.
I'll drag my backside out of bed at the crack of dawn 6 days a week, even after a big night. I'll carry your buckets, mix your cement and make your tea. I'll try my hardest not to give you cheek. I'll be the butt of your jokes and won't take it personally. Tartan paint, left-handed screwdrivers, keep them coming. You can't break me. This is my pledge. This is my bloody oath.
Hard yakka. Nothing's tougher.
My name is Suzette, and I cut hair. I'm an artist with scissors. Just sit in my chair. I can do your new do, blonde or brunette, or a style like mine. It's called the Suzette. From a cut and color to the finer points of grooming, I won't wax your upper lip, but my business is booming. Let me lop your locks off that style so last year, and tell you about insurance. CGU is glorious, dear.
Wherever you are,
Suzette.
whatever you do,
Hairdresser.
we will with you in CGU.
IGA Liquor is the local with a lot. That's 'cause we're local, not 10 k's down the road. If we were, we'd be called the far, far away place with a lot. Plus, we've got a great range of fantastic liquor. That's why we're not called a local with not very much stuff. And IGA Liquor gives you brilliant service and low prices every day. Otherwise, we'd be called the local with a lot, but with an asterisk next to it and some tiny print that says, except for brilliant service and low prices every day. So if you want convenience, a great range, brilliant service and low liquor prices every day, don't go to the far, far away place with stuff all. Come to IGA Liquor, the local with the lot.
2 standard drinks are okay in the first hour, but like on a footy field, not everyone's the same. I mean, your ruck's bigger than your rover, so his alcohol level will be lower, and your midfielder's more tired than others. If you think you're over the limit, you probably are. Only a little bit over? You bloody idiot.
2010 AFL season is proudly brought to you by Toyota. Toyota Footy. Oh, what a feeling.
Okay, to win the car, which of the following is not true about the Volkswagen Golf? A, it's the current Wheels Magazine Car of the Year. B, it has 7 airbags and a 5-star ANCAP safety rating. C, it's made from recycled golf clubs. D, it's available from $28,880.
Can I phone a friend?
No, it's not that show. Choose.
The multi-award-winning Golf is available from just $28,880 drive away. Book a test drive today. Price quoted is the recommended drive away price available at participating dealers. Terms and conditions apply.
For the freshest Carlton draft, your publican ensures the keg arrives fresh from the brewery. They then tap that fresh amber goodness no more than 30 days later and serve that fresh nectar within 7 days. Why? So you can drink the freshest draft beer on the planet before heading home and eating that festering marinara pizza that predates Police Academy 2 and features seafood now extinct. Brewery Fresh Carlton Draft, because we know you sort of care about fresh. For more, visit carltondraft.com.
For over 75 years, nothing stops Triple M rocks football. This quarter.
And we've got a cracker tonight for Saturday night football. Thanks to McDonald's. Triple M rocking the stadium here at the MCG tonight. It's the Magpies up against the Hawks. The Magpies 2 wins, 1 loss thus far. They sit in 7th place on the AFL table. The Hawks 1 win and 2 losses, and they went down to the Western Bulldogs last week by 16 points. The Pies went down to the Saints by 28 points. They're both on the rebound. Should be an absolute ripper. Nathan Brown and Mark Stevens set it up for us, gentlemen. This should be a beauty tonight.
Yeah, looking forward to this. It's going to be a fantastic game. The MCG, perfect night, 20-odd degrees outside at the moment, and Hawthorn Collingwood, you couldn't ask for a better game. Very exciting game. Both clubs under a bit of pressure, actually, Steve, at the moment, because the loser of this game will come under a bit of scrutiny, a bit of media attention, because both these sides, a lot of people expect them, like Adelaide, to finish top 4, top 5, top 6, but at the moment, they both just seem to be finding their way. Buddy Franklin out is a massive problem for them.
The question for me, Brownie, to you is, did the Mick Malthouse incident sort of overshadow, in the end, a pretty lame performance by Collingwood last week, particularly in that last quarter when the game was there to be won, and the Saints were on their knees physically?
Well, I thought they played okay football, Collingwood. They just didn't put the score on the board against Collingwood. They probably should have been a lot closer, if not in front, but the last quarter, like you said, was pretty lame. And to kick, I think from turnovers last week, they kicked no goals, 16 behind. So, I mean, if even half of those are converted, then you're talking about a totally different scenario. So they're playing okay football, but the more times you play okay football and you lose, the more pressure's going to come on you, and all of a sudden you forget how to win, you forget how to do things. And I'll be interested tonight to see how Jared Ruffhead goes without Lance Franklin, because Buddy would normally take the best Collingwood defender, and Preston Giacomo was doing a great job on Nick Riewoldt last week before he actually did his hamstring. That probably wasn't highlighted enough. Preston Giacomo, for his age and for how he goes about his game, he's a fantastic player. He'll go to Jared Ruffhead tonight, and normally Ruffy gets the second best defender behind Buddy, so it's going to be a fantastic contest in itself.
The interesting thing for me is I've watched Hawthorn the last 2 weeks against Geelong and the Bulldogs, who could play off in the grand final. They're top 4 sides, and they haven't been far away, and I'm surprised that Collingwood are raging favourites in this game. I give the Hawks a huge chance. I think the line bet at the moment is 2 goals. I reckon they'll definitely get within that, and I've just got a sneaking feeling they can get over the line.
Yeah, I think their favourites probably because Buddy's out and because Gibson's out. Jordan Lewis, you don't know how he's going to go. A very good effort just to be out there after that sickening collision last week. So they've got a few injury concerns. You've got Clinton Young coming back in for his first game in a long time, so it'll be good to see how he goes. But I just think across the board Collingwood look a little bit more settled. Very interested to see how, like you said, Dale Thomas goes. He needs to be a player that does more. For the amount of media exposure he gets, the amount of, the way they put him on the adverts with Lee Matthews, all that sort of stuff, he's probably just a bit ahead of his time. He needs to start playing some good football.
Well, we've got Michael Roberts again on the boundary line tonight. Michael, the atmosphere down there, both sides out on the ground.
Amazing. There's so many people in here and it's just building, and it was always going to be with Collingwood and Hawthorn. Down here, I'm going to concentrate on the rotations because Collingwood, as we know, are the world record holders, and there's been a lot of press with regards to how many rotations and fatigue, and that leads to injury and whatever. So it'll be really interesting because Collingwood do pump it out, how many they have tonight. Can't wait for the first quarter huddle. Mick Malthouse has just gone underneath me. He's all smiles and whatever, but let's see what he does at quarter time. I'm tipping he won't even look sideways at the opposition, that's for sure. No, the teams are unchanged, and for the Collingwood bench, Dane Beams is on the bench. Side bottom will start there, Fraser and Dane Swan. And for Hawthorn, Osborne, Morton, Murphy, Whitecross, and I'm going for the Pies.
Thanks, Robbo. Fascinating game for Collingwood last week, Brownie. They kicked 4 goals, yet they won the clearances. They won the contested footy over St Kilda, who many rate as the best side in the competition. Of course, we know that the Roo's gone down now, but certainly they won everything but the game. And they had more shots at goal, and they didn't win the game. The last time that happened was the 2008 semi-final. So they did everything right except put it on the scoreboard.
Yeah, exactly, and that's why I think Collingwood win this game tonight, because they've been playing okay football, and more inside 50s, more of the ball, more scoring shots, and they just didn't put it on the scoreboard last night. But I'll be very interested to see how a couple of ruckmen go tonight. Darren Jolly and Josh Fraser need to get on top of Brent Renouf. If they get on top of him and give their midfield first use, it'll be very hard to stop Collingwood, because they're a very good side. Their skill level is very good. They had a bad week last week, but they've got some fantastic kicks in their side. But Josh Fraser and Darren Jolly need to do the job on Brent Renouf, because he's undermanned, because he's only the one ruckman out there. They've got a problem with their ruck department at the moment, Hawthorn. So that's the part where I think they're going to get on top. In the ruck department, get it down to their midfield, make sure they retain possession of the football, unlike last week when they turned it over, and Hawthorn could be chasing backside most of the night.
I reckon Hodgie's an important player for Hawthorn, just about the most important player. He sets them up, he plays a key role every week, Brownie. Where will they play him? In defence, just to fill a hole back there?
I think go from defence and midfield. I think he's fantastic at both. I think you can't have Luke Hodge not play in the middle as well. He's such a bullocking player. He's such a very good player around the stoppages. But then he sweeps so well. So I think 50-50. You've got to spend both amount of times in the midfield and the back line. I'd swing him forward as well, because he's a known goal kicker when he gets forward. I think a match-up for him tonight might be Sharrod Wellingham. He's a very good player. He can run, he can carry, but also he can take his opponents out of it. So Luke Hodge, he needs to be put some pressure on by the Collingwood defence.
Nathan Brown's thoughts on the match. Ashley Chua sits in between Mark Stevens and Nathan Brown. Chua, stats-wise, firstly, good evening.
Good evening to you, Haim.
What have you got for us? Anything interesting for the listeners?
Well, the Hawks have won the last 4 against Collingwood. They've won the last 3 by an average winning margin of 58 points. Interesting for Hawthorn, they've led for 83% of the time this year, ranked number 1, however, for just the 1 win. For the Magpies, the positive for them, they've won 10 out of 13 at the MCG, but Travis Cloke has been held goalless last 3 games against the Hawks, and for TAB Sportsbet, it's paying $13 to kick the first goal of the game.
You like a little piece of that?
Yes, I would.
Oh, you were about to say something?
No.
What were you going to say?
I wouldn't mind a piece of that. Hey?
Just looking down at the moment at the Collingwood forward line, I think it's a good move that Lee Brown's gone down there. Another big body. He just takes a bit of the presence away from Travis Cloke, so maybe they can work in tandem. He can bob up and kick a few goals, Lee Brown. He's been a very good pick-up, so very good move by Mick Malthouse. Sometimes starts forward, sometimes start back, can play on the wing, so great move, and interesting to see Scott Pendlebury going forward, who's normally starting on the wing.
Steve-O, thanks for your time. We'll hear from you tomorrow.
We will, and Hawthorn for mine tonight, boys.
Barry Dennett, kick us off. Saturday night football, Collingwood Hawthorn, almost a full MCG.
Temperature rising as the umpire set to start play. Jolly awaits Renouf on the other side of him. The Magpies will go to the city end in this first term. The Hawks to the punt road into the MCG. That's the left of our broadcast position. Beautiful night for football. Thanks to McDonald's, Triple M rocking Saturday night footy. Nathan Brown, special comments tonight. Yours truly, Barry Denner, Hamish McLaughlin and Michael Roberts. Ashley Chua doing the stats. The crowd rises one. The footy hits the turf. We're underway at the MCG. Renouf and Jolly go at it. Jolly, nice little leap and a tap down. There's Davis early for the Pies. Swooped on it from the edge of the square. Handball to Didak. Handball to Ball. Handball back to Didak. Handball to Thomas now. Left foot kick inside forward 50. There's Medhurst. Picked it up on the bounce. Dragged down in a tackle. Released the handball to Davis. He followed it up. Flying shot at goal has missed everything expected. It's missed by about 20 metres and bounced out of bounds 20 metres around from the Pies goal.
Very clean early, the Pies, and their key players got hands on the ball. Didak, Davis, Thomas, and then Medhurst at the end there. So a good start.
The MCG Saturday night football looks absolutely meticulous as the two big men go up. A chance for Young to get an early touch. Wellingham for the Pies goes in and under. The umpires found a free kick though. It's going Collingwood's way. So the first kick at goal, round 4 Saturday night, will end up in Collingwood's hands, and it's Wellingham who'll be kicking from about 30 out. Not much of an angle, Brownie. 55 seconds played, first quarter.
On the OPSM replay, young Carl Peterson just went in. He's got him over the head, so the tribunal actually look at that, or the people that make the decisions. I forget their name right now, but I'm sure they're pretty important.
So Wellingham, he's just kicked the one so far in the 3 matches, 11 in his career. So to open the account for the Magpies, walks in, both socks down, into a jog, kicks, right boot, it starts right, it sneaks in, umpire says it's touched the post. One behind. Well, disappointing start to Sherrod Wellingham. First score of the night, Collingwood 1 point, Hawthorn yet to score, Triple M Hardjacker scoreboard.
So the Hawks from fullback, short kick, Guerra, Alice up, can't mark, ground level footy, under pressure now the Hawks at half-back. Good tackle laid. McCaffrey was the tackler for the Pies. Dragged Young down to the ground. The umpire blew the whistle, said ball held to him. So it's 55 out on the Magpies goal. They're one behind. The Hawks yet to score. 2 minutes now into this first term at the MCG. Luke Ball at the bottom of the pack, as he always is. Punched it inside forward 50 for the Pies. Ladson there, though. Handball to Mitchell was a bit hot. Couldn't trap it. Thomas did good work. Laid a lovely tackle. Dragged the player to the ground. The umpire says, give it to me. No player pinned at the bottom of the pack yet for Saturday night football. We're 2.5 minutes in. It's Collingwood by 1 point on the Triple M Hardjacker scoreboard.
So the umpire will bounce centre half forward for the Pies. Wellingham, Pendlebury, Jolly there. Jolly knocks it down in the Wellingham direction. Hodge snares it, ends up with Peterson. Rioli, wide they go. Chance of Birchall, links up with Guerra on the left, tries to bring it down the line. Didak a chance to intercept. Ellis was really good. Ladson gave it to Rioli. Series of handballs, ends up going back to Birchall. He comes down the line, but Harry O for the Pies. In between half-back and the wing, he marks.
Terrific start for the season. Wants to play on. He's hit the boundary line though. He's on the wing broadcast side. He's got nowhere to go, Harry, and he's run it out of bounds. They corralled him pretty well. Moss was one of those, Young the other for the Hawks, and eventually had to run it out through wing position.
It's one of those plays where you give him too much time to think about the game, Harry O'Brien. He might stuff it up.
Well, he ran out of room there. Jolly with Renouf doing the ruck work right in front of Michael Roberts. Broadcast side, umpires found a free kick going the Hawks' way. Looks like it's holding against Darren Jolly. It'll go with Renouf. He gives it to Luke Hodge, who comes around, receives a handball. Handballs to Bateman, continues to run, gets it back, gives it to Birchall, continues to run. Hodge gets it back again, then kicks to the run in the space of Brown. He marks, juggling it, runs into Lee Brown, does Campbell Brown. And Campbell Brown will go back and kick from 40-45 to Grangle. Outer side, kicking to the punt road end. Collingwood 1 point, Hawthorn yet to score. We played just on 3 minutes first term.
Be a big start for Hawthorn this. Campbell Brown playing on Collingwood captain Nick Maxwell. Just lost him in a bit of traffic there. He ran back towards goal. Nick Maxwell was probably looking for the third man in support. Didn't think it was going to Campbell Brown, and it ended up in his arms.
So Campbell Brown, 3 for the year from his 3 matches. He goes long, hits the post. The right post, 1 point apiece. 3 minutes in. All on the Triple M Hardjacker scoreboard.
As good as Nick Maxwell is, you can get off him. He's the sort of bloke that's always looking to go third man in on the actual big guys. He would be looking going back on Jared Ruffhead at the moment, and Campbell Brown, if he keeps presenting, will get a lot of hit up ball.
Short plays on from fullback, and he runs broadcast side and kicks a beautiful ball for McCaffrey, who rode over the back of Birchall and took the mark for the Pies. Short kick to Davis. Boundary line on the wing, broadcast side. Low drop punt to Cloke. Marks off half forward. Inside forward 50. He's got Medhurst on his own. Goes there and Medhurst marks. 49 out on the boundary line in front of the members. Takes his time now. Hits it to the hot spot. He's got Thomas at the back, who used his body and pulled down the mark 15 metres out, virtually directly in front. The Pies have started well.
Yeah, great kick from Medhurst. He could have had a shot himself. He was out near where the 50-metre boundary line, but sent it up beautifully. And Dale Thomas, you never want to let Dale Thomas have a look at your back. He just rode over the top. And great start by Collingwood. All key indicators then. Davis had the ball, Cloke got the ball, Medhurst, and now Thomas. You need your key players up early.
First goal of the match, you would think, coming up from 20 metres out. Daisy Thomas won't miss this. He fires and puts it through. Collingwood 1-1-7. Hawthorn one behind on the Triple M Hardjacker scoreboard with the legendary Legends workwear, trousers and shorts. Let's go around the grounds for the TAC, the Two-Man. What's happening up at the Gabba?
Brisbane by 7 points over the Bulldogs. Brisbane 1-2-8 to the Bulldogs, one behind. 5 minutes into the first quarter. Favola had the first score of the game, one behind.
Barry Hall, a bit of argy-bargy before the bounce.
He's involved with 3 Brisbane line opponents deep in the goal square there.
And Ash Stewart, when would be the last time that a game started with 2 posters?
2 posters, round 4, 1979.
Are you serious?
Making that up, Carl.
Brilliant.
Well played, Two-Man. 1-1. Collingwood, they get the first goal of the evening. Hawthorn one behind. That went to Campbell Brown. He hit the post. As Nathan Brown said, umpire will reload in the middle. 6 minutes gone in this first term. Triple M Hardjacker scoreboard in the middle of the ground. Jolly and Renoff do the ruck work. Falls to Pendra. He goes over the top of the ball. Chance for Wellingham. Hard underneath. Gives it to Jolly. Swan at target. Well done. Bateman throws Swan off it. Gives it back to Renoff. He gives it to Ladson. Middle of the ground. Ladson starts to run. Laces out to Jared Roughhead. And Roughhead marks 48 out, so they have to kick from about 52 directly in front. Punt road end, 1-1 Collingwood, Hawthorn one behind.
As the ball was being bounced then, Jared Roughhead and Campbell Brown both sprinted from one side to the other. They were at opposite point posts and they just crossed paths, and that lost Prestige Como then.
So this year, Jared Roughhead has 11. He won't add to it. In fact, doesn't even go the distance. Gets ball, falls to ground. Umpires says it did. Goal umpire signals are behind as the players rush on. One behind only. So Collingwood 1-1-7, Hawthorn 2 behind. Triple M Hardjacker scoreboard, which has played 7 minutes first term.
So short kick to the back pocket. Johnson for the Pies. Another short one to Tuvey. Now they're outside defensive 50. Out of side this time. Goes to Lockie. A beautiful kick. 40-metre drop punt right into his path. Had time to set up the half forward. Gillum though in front of Brown. Will mark for Hawthorn right on the boundary line. Chips it back to his teammate in Murphy. Inside defensive 50, one way then the other. Goes to Schoenmakers, virtually at fullback for the Hawks, and he's in space.
Left kick, terrible, gets intercepted at centre half forward. It was Cloke. He lost it. Coming to give handball is Osborne. He received it, then lost it. Side bottom for the Pies, picks it up. Still 30 out directly in front of the Pies goals. Beams is there, gets wrapped up with the ball. Schoenmakers kick, awkward, touched by Cloke, and it stays inside 50 for the Pies. 8 minutes gone, Collingwood 1-1-7, Hawthorn 2 behinds.
Bounce down, 35 out. Big third up was Lewis. Tapped down to ground level. Diving on top beams. Couldn't trap the footy though. Still in dispute. Bodies roll around. We'll have another bounce, 25 out.
Hawthorn turned the ball over a lot in this early part of the game, and low kicks haven't actually got... Looks like there's not enough air in the football or something.
So the umpire bounces 30 out directly in front of the Pies goal. Morton, third man up, goes up high, brings the ball to ground. Ground level ball still for both teams to try and work out. Umpire says it's not going to go anywhere. And there'll be a third go from the umpire. Still has not moved. 30 out directly in front of the Collingwood goal. Renoff, a chance, loses it. Little handball to Hodge, to Rioli. Now the Hawks come away. Mitchell crashed into by Shaw. Really good. Great tackle. Ends up with Morton though for the Hawks. Quick series of handballs. Still at the 50 for the Pies. They can regain through Thomas. Handball over the top to McCapper. He goes to Brown. Long ball off one start. It's going to go back, and in the end Renoff's got sort of gall to sit and wait and read it best, and he was uncontested when he took it. He goes wide to Mitchell.
Just an early stat, Hawthorn 44% by foot and Collingwood 67% by foot, so the Hawks are turning it over a bit.
Yeah, and the Pies are finding their target. So Mitchell has to run across the goal. He's defending. Thomas has got him. Kicked it very short into the back pocket. They're under the pump here, the Hawks. Thomas lays a beautiful tackle on Stratton. and the ball bounces out of bounds. Collingwood hold it inside their forward 50, and their fans love that, Brownie.
Yeah, Dale Thomas, a fantastic start. No one was moving to Sam Mitchell then. He had no one to kick to, so he had to turn around, and he was lucky not to run it through the points.
38 from the Pies goal. A chance, little handball to Tuvey from Swan was good, but Tuvey got wrapped up by a heap of Hawks. Ends up with Morton. He gets dumped to the ground as well. Loses it. Stratton picks it up. A chance for the Hawks. Numbers there. Birchall, Ellis, in the end Lewis. Fires the ball wide. Kick is great to Brown. Half-back flank for the Hawks. They come broadcast side.
Goes Rioli. He's got O'Brien over the top. Harry gives the spoil. A tap to ground level where Maxwell picks up a loose ball. Kicks it long to side bottom inside forward 50. Over the top Stratton. Punched it to the line. Medhurst tried to keep it in. The boundary umpire spoils the party at 48 from the Collingwood goal.
Carlton draft stats, the tackles 11-5 Collingwood's way.
Whole of the MCG lit up then when Rioli and O'Brien, two of the favourite sons from their respective teams, went to the ball together. Renoff goes up, high and flying, knocks it down. Heap of Hawks are there, but the Pies have got numbers too. Pies really good today. They're attacking 50, Brownie. Heap of pressure.
They're ferocious at the moment. They're getting extra numbers in the forward line. They're having a lot of ball ups inside forward 50. That allows them to have more opportunity to score goals. It's not coming out as easy as what Hawthorn would like.
Pies to the city end in the first term. They lead by 5 points. 10.5 in. The kick out of the pack bounces to the boundary line, and Hawthorn worked it out of their defensive 50. It's over 60 metres around from the Collingwood goal. They're 1-1-7. The Hawks 2 behinds. 11 minutes first term. Thanks to McDonald's. Triple M rocking Saturday night footy.
Josh Fraser, true man, and he's going to go around the grounds, knocked it to side bottom, a chance for the Pies, 60 out, hard up against the boundary, did really well. Got a little kick away, ends up with a lock here. Fraser picks up the loose ball, snaps around the corner. It's gone out of bounds on the full. So at half-back, the Hawks will relieve. Played 11 minutes. Collingwood 1-1-7. Hawthorn 2 points. What's happening at the Gabba for the TAC?
Brisbane by 7 points over the Bulldogs. Lines 1-2-8. Bulldogs 1 behind, 11 into the first quarter.
So Hodge went short to Ellis, who's marked right on the boundary line, still on defensive 50 for the Hawks. Looks up towards the wing where there's a 2-on-1 contest with Whitecross and Brown against Maxwell. But he went long after they led short, and now we've got a marking contest with young Peterson flying for Hawthorn. Couldn't complete it. Brown was hard at the footy at ground level, won the ball just inside the boundary line, kicked it 20 metres along that. Moss couldn't trap it. Lewis comes in on it. Moss again, second effort was good. Peterson tries to help out. Didak was clever for Collingwood. Loose ball to Maxwell. Hammer to Johnson. Back to Didak. At half-back though, kick was smothered by Moss. Under pressure he did well though. Picked it up again, Didak. Handball to Maxwell. Back towards the wing with a kick, and Big Lee Brown up and takes the mark.
Gives it to Lockie, who runs on the wing. His kick down the line is terrific to Medhurst. Long left-handed handball over the top to Shaw. It finds Shaw. He goes to side bottom. Squares it up. Davis lurks. He waits by himself. Terrific passage of play from the Magpies.
All over at the moment, Collingwood. 8 inside 50s to Hawthorn's 2. Every time Hawthorn come out of their defensive 50 at the moment, they're seeing Collingwood players everywhere. Their zones working to perfection, and they're forcing Hawthorn into mistakes and kicks they don't want to kick. They turn it over, and then Collingwood players are all out. Beautiful play. Well done by Medhurst. He's been very good early.
So Davis, 5 for the season, will try and add to that. He's directly in front. He'll kick from about 45. City end. Collingwood 1-1-7. They lead by 5 points. Hawthorn 2 behinds only. And you just got the feeling before the match these conditions were going to suit Leon Davis. He kicks just the behind, and he's getting a bit of it early. So exciting to watch. Collingwood 1-2-8, lead by 1 straight kick. Hawthorn 2 behinds. Triple M Hardjack scoreboard.
I'll tell you what though, they just want to start putting this score on the board. 8 inside 50s is 2, and they're still only 5-6 points up. They've had all the play. Hawthorn at some stage are going to get their game going, and Collingwood, like last week, are wasting the football up forward.
Bit unsure at the moment, the Hawks. Guerra kicked it to himself, played on, he's kicked it straight to Big Fraser and Maxwell in a 2-on-1 against Hawthorn, but they dropped the mark. Johnson came in, tries to work his way through the bottom of the pack. Good pressure, Campbell Brown. It ended up with Maxwell for the Collingwood side, but his handball went straight to Mitchell, who handballs over the top to Bateman, who's released him. He's 70 out, he's got Roughhead 20 from the goal. Roughhead up, can't mark. O'Brien comes in, put the pressure on, front on contact. I think Brownie or crossing of the arms, one or the other, but he's got a free kick, Roughhead.
Yeah, it was front on contact. He couldn't do anything there, Presty. He was totally out of position. Had to go back and just run into Jared Roughhead and hope the umpire didn't pay the free kick, but he did.
So Roughhead virtually directly in front of goal should put the Hawks first major on the board and bring this game level at the 14-minute mark of the first term. Steps up to the plate. His mate's not there tonight in Buddy Franklin, and he's missed this one. Put it to the left. Stayed left. Hawthorn 3 behinds. Collingwood 128, 14.5 first term. Triple M Hard Yakka scoreboard.
Been watching Jared Ruffhead for a while now. He's been in the system for a while, but his goal kicking is off sometimes, and he doesn't take enough steps to go into the ball. He kicks it off 1 or 2 steps, Hamish.
Shaw brings it down the line, plays on and kicks long, ends up with Swan, who gives it to Pendlebury. Swan continues to run, receives it, takes a bounce, now 2, might even have 3, now kicks inside 50, targets Brown, going back with the flight though is Gillum, and he handballs to Hodge. Hodge loses it, has to go and win it again, does really well. Little kick on the right, okay to Birchall, mops up for the Hawks in between fullback and centre half back, and the Hawks have numbers, and the kick is good to Schoenmakers. He handballs to Mitchell, goes to half forward, Bateman the target.
He's got a bit of a task here. He's got Shaw all over him, won the footy, but Shaw's kick went straight to Peterson on the wing. He tapped it back to Bateman under pressure. Chipping in and helping out was Osborne. That was terrific. Kick inside forward 50 into the path of Moss. Deep right forward pocket, runs it along the ground, tucked over the line by Johnson. Point to the Hawks there, 4 behinds. Collingwood 128, 15.5 first term. Robbo downstairs.
Yeah, some of the worst shots for goal. I know it's down to nerves because it can't be fatigue or anything, but gee, they've both faulted both teams.
Thanks, Robbo, as the Pies bring it to half-back, broadcast side, ends up with Wellingham, who goes backwards, in the end hits Johnson. So Johnson is back in the side after a couple of injuries early last year and early this year. Nice to see him running around in Collingwood colours. Goes to McCaffrey in the middle. He goes to Wellingham, who gives it to Pendlebury. Pendlebury in the middle. Target Davis. Kick from Pendlebury, as it often is. Absolutely perfect. Davis plays on, hits Wellingham. 40 out directly in front. Wellingham, lot of run from him, ends up with the ball, and he'll go back and have a crack. Try and bring up the Pies second. It's 1-2-8 Collingwood. Hawthorn 4 points, 4-point lead in favour of the Pies. Hard Yakka scoreboard.
They're just a bit cleaner at the moment, the Pies. Their field kicking is outstanding, but where they're having problems, they're shot for goals. They're 1-2-8, and they've missed a couple of other ones that they should have put away, so they need to make the most of it. And if I was Alistair Clarkson, I'd be directing all my play through Nick Maxwell's man. He's a very good player, Nick Maxwell, but he gives you a chance because he wants to zone off, he wants to be third man in.
So Wellingham will kick from about 48, pretty much directly in front. Looks offline, it is offline. In the end, one behind only to the Pies. So 1-3-9, Hawthorn 4 behinds. Early going Triple M Hard Yakka scoreboard. 16 3/4 minutes played first term at the MCG. Saturday night football round 4. Round the grounds, please chew for the TAC.
Brisbane by 9 points over the Bulldogs. 1-5-11 to the Bullies. 2 behinds halfway into the first quarter.
And for Carlton draft, Two-Man, how the stats checking up?
Well, it's all Collingwood inside 50s at 10-4, but Hawks dominating the clearance of 6-2.
Well, the Hawks cleared it from half back, but they put it straight onto the chest of Maxwell on the outer side wing, and he pumps Collingwood back into attack. Long bomb, Fraser at the back. Davis to run onto it in the pocket. Guerra with him. Guerra put a bit of pressure on, won his own ball. That was good. Handball back to Mitchell. Mitchell's handball missed its target in Murphy. Allowed Lee Brown in loose footy at ground level. Comes out of the pack and goes out of bounds. 25 around from the Magpies goal, but they certainly still, Brownie, 17.5 first term. They do look the more settled side at the moment, the Pies.
Yeah, they do. Their skill level's been absolutely terrific, apart from their shots at goal.
Jolly and Renoff, half forward for the Pies. A chance for Swan, gets a little toe poke, ends up though with Hawks. They've got heap of numbers around the place. White cross goes to Peterson. He goes back in the turn to Renoff. It goes to Bateman, who gives it to Young. Runs through the middle of the MCG. Little kick, really good. It's Rocca, who's a long way from home. He's just left of the circle's broadcast side, so he kicks wide, gives it to Brown. He runs. Campbell Brown goes back to centre half forward. Kick is good, hits Bateman. So Bateman plays on, 60 from home, goes long to the outer side, hits Peterson with a long ball. It was about 45 metres. It was good, it was accurate. And Peterson, if he's got the confidence, will go back and kick towards the punt road end and try and bring up the Hawks first. Collingwood 1-3-9, Hawthorn 4 behinds. Peterson with the ball in his hands. He'll be kicking from about 52, Brownie.
Yeah, he was at Richmond's list for a couple of years. He's a very talented player and has come a long way, coming leaps and bounds, this young kid. And I reckon he can kick this.
So he gets very close to the man on the mark. Might have come off him. Goes to the front of the square. Fist comes. Falls to Prestigiacomo. Thomas is there, the goal kicker for the Pies. He helps out Presti. Maxwell jumps the ground. And a heap of players jump on top of each other. 30 out from the Hawthorn goal. 1-3-9. Hawthorn 4 behinds. 5-point game as we bounce in between full forward and centre half forward.
Third man up, Bateman. Tapped it to ground level. Little kick out of the pack by Swan for the Pies. Birchall first there. Ran off half forward. Under pressure. Can't trap it. 2 tacklers grab him. O'Brien, one of those. Slammed into the turf. The umpire blows the whistle and says, "Mine boys." 50 still out from the Hawthorn goal. Right on the boundary line, broadcast side, left half forward. The Hawks going to the punt road end. Hodge grabbed it out of the ruck and then threw it onto his boot and kicked it into road 10, I reckon. And about half back for the Pies, and Thomas will take the free kick. Let's go around the grounds for the TAC, Two-Man.
Barry, we've got the Lions leading the Bulldogs by 15 points, 2-5-17 to the Bullies 2 behinds, 19 in the first.
And if you're only a little bit over, Two-Man, you bloody idiot.
Text from Nicky Gear, 1999051. Haven't heard Cyril Rioli. Is he playing, Two-Man? How many touches, please?
Carlton draft stats, just the 3 disposals.
He's been quiet, but he's a very exciting player. He will be back in the middle of the ground. It comes to the wing. A chance for McCaffrey to clear for the Pies. He gets his handball intercepted by Schoenmakers. Gives it to Guerra. Back to Renoff. In the middle of the ground, Bateman. The umpire's found a free kick. It's going the way of Ben Johnson on the wing broadcast side. 20 minutes played. 9 plays 4. 5-point lead to the Pies as Johnson, for some reason, decides to kick the touch on the wing. Members side right in front of Robbo. So the umpire will have to bring it in. His kick found no one. And it's 139 Collingwood, 4 behinds Hawks, Triple M Hardjacker scoreboard.
Footy comes back into play. Renoff in front, worked it down to Mitchell, didn't get there though. Grabbed by Wellingham, who kicks the ball towards half forward. Schoenmakers at half back, fights hard for the Hawks. They've had a bit of work to do down there in this first term. Well, Murphy's handball astray, side bottoms grabbed it for the Pies, handball to Medhurst, 60 out, corralled, handballs back to Swan. Swan short, kick to forward 50 where Didak lurks and marks. 6 metres inside the boundary line, wides up on the left, goes long, goes strong and kicks a ripper goal. That would have to be a candidate for the Triple M Karcher goal of the day. Alan Didak lights up the MCG. The Pies have got their second, they're 2-3-15. Hawthorn 4 behind, Triple M Hardjacker scoreboard.
Yeah, fantastic. He's such a talent, Alan Didak, and you love to see when someone gets the ball, they play on and they bang a big goal from 50. But I think everyone else in the stadium knew what he was going to do then, except Xavier Ellis. He got the ball on 50. He's out near the boundary. The only place he's ever going to go is do a big arc and get onto his left foot. Xavier Ellis needed to play that side of his body a bit more. He needed to say, look, you're not going to play on here. You're going to have to kick it on your right if you want to play on, but I'm going to cover your left where you try and get out and get some distance. So Xavier Ellis, a good learning curve for him then, but Alan Didak, fantastic skills.
All Australian squad last year didn't make the side though, Two-Man. How many touches for Didak today?
For Carlton draft stats, 5 disposals, 1 goal straight.
Carlton draft should be served at temperature of 1 to 3 degrees as the umpire bounces in the middle of the ground. And a free kick going the Pies' way, so they had a bit of it early. Ends up with Beams. He kicks to half forward. Medhurst to target. He's got a couple to beat. Punches it down well to Pendlebury. Does well. Goes over the top. Stratton runs. The umpire's found a free kick going the way of the Pies again. Free kicks, please, Chew.
Yeah, 3 all Carlton draft stats, but hey, the contested ball in the midfield, 19-8 Collingwood's way. So
Pendlebury will kick from just on 50. Not much angle to speak of. He's kicked 3 from 3 games so far this year. Crowd wanted a 50 for players running around the mark. Not going to come. Pendlebury will kick from right on the 50-metre paint. Kicks, city end. Crowd tells the story. Collingwood have their third. 3-3-21. Hawthorn, 4 behinds only. Triple M Hardjacker scoreboard. 4 minutes to play. First term MCG round 4 as we go round the grounds for the TAC, Chu.
And we've got the Lions leading the Bulldogs by 13 points. Brisbane 2-5-17. Bulldogs 4 behinds, 23 into the first quarter.
In a game where we've seen a couple of goals shanked, Jared Roughhead missed an easy one, Campbell Brown missed one, Sherrod Wellingham missed a couple of easy ones. It's great to see a little bit of clash from a couple of left footers and to improve the game. Didak and then that man then, Scott Pendlebury. He is a fantastic talent. He's absolutely beautiful to watch. He's a majestic player, Scott Pendlebury. It's like watching David Gow when he used to bat, just the elegant left-hander, and you could watch him all day, watch him what he does.
Thanks to McDonald's. Triple M rocking Saturday night football. The MCG looks absolutely picture perfect tonight. Out of the centre goes Wellingham. He won it for the Pies. He kicked long. Didak used his body, then ran onto the footy. The umpire's whistle went though. He said he had his opponent in Murphy by the hand. During the contest it was 1-on-1 and Murphy got the free kick at half back. So Murphy for the Hawks. Short kick. Ellis has got it for Hawthorn. Still inside defensive 50. 24 minutes now into the first quarter. Kicks out towards Morton. O'Brien with him. Morton and O'Brien 1-on-1. Morton grabbed it. O'Brien tackle beautiful. The ball spills from the handball. Steele side bottom. Handball back to O'Brien, who started beautifully. Little handball to Beams. Ran it along the ground to Didak at half forward. Handball to Tuvey. Tackled by Mitchell. Handball to Medhurst. Handball back to Didak. Tried the short kick towards Lockyer, but that was spoiled. And the ball's gone out of bounds 20 around from the Pies goal. But by geez, they look dangerous, Brownie, at the moment.
Their tackle pressure's been fantastic, Collingwood. Tackles, thanks, Shoot.
22-9 Collingwood's way.
And inside 50s, 14-5.
Collingwood 3-3-21 plays Hawthorn 4 behinds. Deep into attack for the Pies. A chance again with just 3 minutes to play in this first term. Triple M Hardjacker scoreboard.
Carlton draft stats home leading ball winners for the Magpies. 7 apiece to Swan, Wellingham and Didak.
Harry O'Brien, who blogs away and twitters, has Harry's well. We're going to hear Chew's view later on in the broadcast. His segment come to Triple M Football as Chew has been tweeting himself during the week. Rioli at centre half back, tries to break away for the Hawks, ends up with Stratton. Stratton gets tackled. A chance for Bateman to recover. Can't. Pendlebury's there too. Ellis receives a quick handball. Lockyer intercepts. Bateman goes and wins it. Really hard to get it clear. Cloke's there too, as is Maxwell. Rebounds off him. He gets taken. Didn't have it. Umpire says plays on. Lockyer, a chance, pick up the loose ball, ends up with Pendlebury, goes wide to Davis. This is Davis territory, around the corner he goes. Medhurst waits, White Cross is there. Murphy's got to be good. He fumbles. Daisy Thomas kicks the fumble out of the air to get his second of the evening. And what was a really fast, hard football to win, ended up with Murphy receiving it quickly, fumbled it, and Daisy Thomas just saw it, kicked it on his left boot out of the air. Brownie on the OPSM, talk us through it.
Hawthorn just looked really out of sorts at the moment. Whitecross, I'm not sure what he was thinking then. The ball was just about out of bounds and he punched it back in towards the goals. And Dale Thomas, Mark Stevens said he needed to step up tonight, and so far he has. He's kicked a couple of goals, he's put some good pressure on, and he has been the live wire of the Collingwood forward line so far. He's the number one ranked player on the ground, but Hawthorn, they look really out of sorts. They can't get their game going, they can't get their hands on the ball, and when they do, their forward line looks unstructured. At that stage then, a couple of minutes ago, Jared Ruffhead took a mark 70 metres out, had no one to kick it to. There's actually no one inside 50, so they need to structure up a bit better and get their game back on plan.
4-3-27, Hawthorn 4 points, big lead, 23 points, Triple M Hardjacker scoreboard.
Thanks to McDonald's. Triple M rocking Saturday night footy. Ball out of the centre to Lockyer. Little hand pass to McCaffer. McCaffer now has his kick smothered, but it went back to him, so he handballed to Steele side bottom. Goes onto his left to Medhurst in the pocket, off his toes. It went to Davis. Handball back to Medhurst on the boundary line. He's 40 out. Has a look over his shoulder. Has a crack in towards goal. It's close. Ellis dropped back and marked it on the line. Let's go around the grounds for the TAC, Chew, man. What's happening at the Gabba?
Yeah, Brisbane by 7 points over the Bulldogs. Brisbane 2-5-17, Bullies 1-4-10 nearing quarter time.
Pies by 23 here, late in the first term. A chance to go even further ahead. Jolly from 2 steps after receiving the Beams handball from the turnover is terrific. Jolly from a long way out sees Collingwood go 5-3-33 to Hawthorn 4 behinds. And Collingwood tonight are sizzling hot with a minute and a half to play. First term Triple M Hardjacker scoreboard. Turnover from the Hawks kick in.
Yeah, another one. Xavier Ellis is actually having a horror first quarter. And another goal from a Hawthorn mistake. He kicked it out from the points and just missed his player by 10 metres. Not good enough at this level, and Collingwood are going to make you pay. They started to waste the ball a bit early, but since then Collingwood the last 4 goals straight, so they're up and about the Pies, and if Hawthorn don't do something to swing back momentum their way, this game's going to be over before quarter time.
Robbo, what's happened to Luke Ball?
Yeah, Mick Malthouse down on the ground now. Had a look at Luke Ball. He's rolled his right ankle in a little bit of pain. Just moved up and down the boundary line. We'll keep an eye on that. Right ankle, Luke Ball.
Renoff in the ruck, taps it down at ground level. Mitchell there for the Hawks, had it, then lost it, but they've worked hard through Hodge. Back to Mitchell by hand, and they'll work it out of the centre. A short kick to Rioli on the wing. He gets around Pendlebury. Yes, he does in the end. Little hand pass backwards. It's Ladson who's got it on the wing. Handballs back to Osborne. Kicking towards half forward. Grabbed by O'Brien for Collingwood. He's gang tackled, loses the footy. Hawks through Hodge, still at half forward. Handball to Ellis. Beautiful 20-metre handball to Rioli. Handball to Peterson. Peterson doesn't go for goal. He just chipped it inside forward 50 to Lewis. He flies from 40. And thank goodness the Hawks are on the board before quarter time. That's their first major. They're 1-4-10. Collingwood 5-3-33. Triple M Hardjacker scoreboard. Here's Browning.
Yeah, they needed that one, the Hawks. That was an understatement, but it's been their lesser-known players that have been making the mistakes. Whitecross, Ellis, Murphy. these sort of guys. But then when we had Hodge got the ball, he showed some poise. He got it about 70 metres out. He was under pressure. He was in a pack, but he took the pressure. He took the tackle, got his arms free, gave it to Mitchell, who then gave it to Rioli, who then gave it to Peterson. And Peterson had the poise enough not to blaze away. He spotted someone out the corner of his eye. It was Jordan Lewis, who kicked a very good goal for them. And that's something they haven't done so far, is play with poise. The first time they've done it, all their key playmakers have been involved, and a goal was a result.
For the TAC two-man quarter time at the Gabba, and is Barry Hall losing the plot up there?
He is. He's copped a lot of attention from Dan Merritt, and he might find himself in a bit of bother, Barry, but it's the Lions by 1 point at quarter time. 2-5-17, Bulldogs 2-4-16.
And here it's the Magpies by 23, 38 seconds to play, but the Hawks have got a free kick in the middle of the ground. They go wide. So they've got to try and find something up forward. Ball in the hands, outer side of Whitecross. He goes to centre half back and finds Murphy. So he's got to try and find something other than Guira, who's wide on the half-back flank. So he goes to the other half-back flank, finds Whitecross again. He does a little side swipe. The sweeper from Queensland does pretty well. Gives it to Rioli, back to Rioli from Ellis after receiving it. Now to Mitchell. Mitchell in the middle, little squeezing kick, okay. Pendlebury, though, really good. Intercepts it. Goes backwards to Shaw with a little fumbling ball. Was good enough to Shaw to give it to Tuvey. He goes wide to Davis. The boundary... Well, what about the siren? Beats Davis. There'll be no more score first term, Brownie. Quarter time 5-3, 33 Collingwood. Hawthorn 1-4, 10-33 plays 10.
That last bit of play then just summed up Hawthorn's first quarter. They got a free kick out of the centre. So you're in the centre. You just needed a bomb it long, get in there. He's gone wide to a player who couldn't play on. It's okay to go wide to a player out in the wing as long as he can play on and he can run and carry it inside 50. If he goes wide and he's held up, then that just allows Collingwood players to get back in numbers and they'd nowhere to go.
Nathan Brown's thoughts on the first quarter. When we return, we'll pick it up. Second quarter, not so far away. 5-3, 33 Collingwood. Hawthorn 1-4-10. A 23-point lead to the Pies at quarter time. Thanks to McDonald's, Triple M rocks football.
This quarter was brought to you by Hard Yakka. For over 75 years, nothing's tougher.
For McDonald's,
Triple M rocks football.
Hi, it's Eddie Maguire from Triple M's Hot Breakfast. This is why you cannot afford to miss our show. This week you heard it first when we talked to the Premier about embattled former Police Chief Christine Nixon.
Christine continues to have my support. The support that she's given people in those communities has been crucial to them being able to get on with their lives. I believe that she continues to do that job well.
We're back Monday from 6. Get the inside word on Melbourne every day on Triple M's Hot Breakfast.
Whoever you are, whatever you do, we put the U in CGU.
Desperate Housewives,
Underbelly,
Neighbours,
CSI Miami.
Want to watch your favourite shows on a massive 100-inch screen? Then build your dream home with National Builders Group and get the home cinema pack.
It includes HD projector, 100-inch screen, Blu-ray player, HD set-top box and sound system.
Plus ultra-premium home inclusions, all at no extra cost. Now that's what I call blockbuster value. Go to nationalbuilders.com.au. Hurry, offer ends soon. National Builders, looked after me.
Time to take the fair dinkum real shed test. Can you handle a hot lap in a V8 supercar? Yes? Then you're the sort who'd also appreciate a real shed and real value from Fair Dinkum Sheds. And if you order any garage, barn or shed before May 31, you could win airfares, spending money and a hot lap with Carl Reindler in the Fair Dinkum Sheds V8 Supercar. Conditions apply. LTPS 1002759. Fair Dinkum Sheds. Real sheds, real value.
Harvey Norman, Australia's #1 television retailer, have the following hard LG high-definition offers. Get yourself an LG 42-inch HD plasma TV, only $795. Or the LG 42-inch HD LCD TV is only $895. Or if you want to go even bigger, how about an LG 50-inch HD plasma at only $995? It's a huge screen. Kick off the new season with one of these hot deals and see your team in high definition. These LG deals won't last at these prices. Get into your local Harvey Norman now.
So, what's for dinner tonight, eh? Mum wants something easy, Dad wants something that's great value, and the kids want something tasty. Well, McDonald's can now give everyone what they want with the new family dinner box. There are 3 to choose from, like the value dinner for just $19.95, the favourites dinner, or selections dinner, which includes the delicious Angus burgers. All available from 5 to 11 p.m. at participating restaurants. So, what's for dinner tonight?
Oh, there goes that.
You okay to drive?
2 standard drinks an hour? Yeah, no worries.
Oh, yeah, so what's standard? A glass is usually 1, but it can be 1.4. A stubby is 1.5, but of light it's 0.8. A boutique-style glass is often 1.15. A schooner is usually 1.5, but sometimes it's 1.8. And then a pot is 1, a butcher is 0.7, a pony is 0.5, a pint is 2, and a jug is 4. So, our standard's that beer then?
Gee, buggered fine, eh?
Only a little bit over? You bloody idiot.
G'day, Doc Larkins here. Every week I see all kinds of sports injuries, but the worst ones happen to everyday people doing everyday things. Injuries that occur in our streets, shopping malls and other public places can be devastating. If this type of injury has happened to you, there is something you can do about it. Call No Wiki Carbone Lawyers on 1300 Injured and find out if you're eligible for compensation. No win, no charge. Conditions apply. Talk to them now without obligation on 1300 Injured.
Shut up! The foot is on the radio!
For McDonald's.
Triple M rocks football. This quarter is brought to you by Harvey Norman, your electrical big brand specialist.
The Magpies have jumped out of the blocks at the MCG. They lead by 23 points at quarter time over Hawthorn, 5-3-33. The Hawthorn 1-4-10. Let's go straight down to the boundary line to Robbo. Injury problems down there, Robbo?
Couple for Collingwood, and it's frantic stuff out in the ground, but the whiteboard was going everywhere. They're trying to slot blokes in. Luke Ball and also Darren Jolly missed that entire huddle. Luke Ball's just run out with the laces still to be done up on the right side. I reckon he's rolled that ankle, re-strapped, could have had a shot, but up and about, so Mick Malthouse can stick him back on the whiteboard. Darren Jolly, unsighted, bit of a problem with him, in pain. We don't know exactly what's happening, but he's been down there, hasn't returned. So ball out in onto the ground, so he's up and about for the second quarter. Darren Jolly yet to appear.
Well, the Pies up by 23, but they've got injury concerns. Ash Stewart, before the Triple M Carlton draft stats at quarter time, give us a little bit of an update. You had the opportunity to have a look at the OPSM replay screen up at the Gabba. Barry Hall, is he in strife?
I reckon he is in strife, Barry. It was a three-quarter clenched left fist, what I could see on the vision. A quick blow to Daniel Merritt's right side of the face. It was very, very quick. We know he's got very quick hands. But
wasn't it quick?
Huh?
Well, wasn't it quick? I wouldn't have seen that coming at all.
So it'll be interesting to see what unfolds from there for poor old Barry Hall. But in the meantime, Brisbane leading the Bulldogs by a point early stage of second term.
Now, I'm not the greatest fighter of all time, Chua, but I watched that on the screen. I still didn't see it. It was that quick.
Well, the only reason he saw it because Ash is going to keep his eyes on the ball this season with OPSM, official eye care partner of the AFL. And Brownie, it's quarter time. The Pies up by 23, but they've got a couple of injury concerns.
Yeah, they have, but they're controlling this game at the moment. I reckon most of that quarter was played in Collingwood's half of the ground. They had a amount of ball ups inside 50. They just kept their relentless pressure and their relentless tackling, kept Hawthorn under pressure, and Hawthorn started turning the ball over, and then because of their pressure it turned into perceived pressure, and they were turning it over when there wasn't anyone around them. So Hawthorn have got themselves to blame that they're in this position. Their turnovers have been costly. Lucky they got that last goal, but Collingwood have been fantastic so far. Hawthorn battling for structure up forward. They need to restructure their forward line so they've got someone to kick it to. Jared Ruffhead can't do it all. They've got to have multiple targets up there.
Triple M rocking football from 12 again tomorrow. Couple of big games. Port Adelaide coming up against the Cats, and then also St Kilda and Freo. In the middle of the ground, the umpire bounces, ends up with Mitchell, wins the ball, goes to Rioli. There's a combination, Mitchell and Rioli. In the middle, still Rioli, 75 from home, kicks long down the line, hits Bateman, who leads from half forward. He'll go back and kick a goal, about 45, 46 out. Not a huge angle because he's on the left half forward flank, favouring his right boot, kicking towards the city end of the MCG. First 30 seconds of play, second term, Collingwood 5-3-33. Hawthorn 1-4-10, 23-point lead at quarter time to the Pies. Thomas has a couple. Singles to Pendlebury, Didak, and Jolly as Bateman comes close to the man on the mark. Kicks, umpire doesn't move. Hawks have got their second. Lewis kicked their first, late in the first. And now Bateman kicks one early in the second. Collingwood 5-3-33. Hawthorn 2-4-16. That's on the Triple M Harvey Norman scoreboard.
It's so important to play your role on the side. It's so important to know when you're a kicker or whether you're the guy that has to give off the ball. Hawthorn have been making a fair few mistakes, but then Mitchell got the ball. He knows how to use it. Got it out to Rioli, and it's nice to watch a guy who knows how to kick a football to Bateman, who finished it off. There are certain guys in a team who would be designated. They don't actually want them to kick. I know for a fact we used to play at Richmond, and players weren't allowed to kick it. If they had someone running past them to handball, they would. Brett Renouf would be out there tonight. He'd be one of the given off. They wanted to give it to Rioli all the time. They want to give it to Hodge all the time. They want to give it to Mitchell. They want to give it to Young. Blokes have to play their role on the side as a kicker, or if you're a handballer, give it off if you're not a good kicker.
Pies by 17, a minute and a half into the second term. Triple M Harvey Norman scoreboard thanks to Macca's. Triple M rocking Saturday night football. Bounce down in the centre. Players from both sides have a crack for the TAC. Two-man, let's go around the grounds. Only a little bit over, you bloody idiot, if you are. Stuart, what's the score up there?
Bulldogs have hit the lead by 4 points. Bulldogs 3-4-22, Brisbane 2-6-18. 4 minutes into the second quarter.
Barry Hall settled down.
He looks pretty composed just for now, Barry.
Players in the middle of the ground, ball not going anywhere. Top of the square, favouring the punt road end where Collingwood are kicking in his second term. Collingwood 5-3-33, Hawthorn 2-4-16. One goal scored early in this second quarter went the way of the Hawks as Hodge comes in, does the ruck work and the roving, gives it to Rioli, he gives it to Birchall, to Ladson, to Ellis. Now a chance, Guira to clear for the Hawks. Half back, will handball back inside to Ellis is good. To Hodge now, through the middle of the ground they come. Ends up with Bateman, he kicked a goal just moments ago. Kick down the line, good to Brown. Mark's still on the edge of the square, a long way from home, kicks inside 50. Running is Young. He receives a well-weighted kick and he can go back and kick it goal. He's about 4 or 5 metres in from the boundary line. Tough angle. It's going to favour his left foot because he's in the right forward pocket. Robbo down on the boundary.
Darren Jolly just came back, just doing some stuff for the physio and the doctor. I reckon he's favouring the right-hand side. So limping a fraction, Darren Jolly. We'll see how he comes up.
First 5 games of last year, that was all in 2009 for Clint Young. He kicks at goal, puts it across the face, one behind only. So inaccurate so far, the Hawks. Collingwood 5-3-33, Hawthorn 2-5-17, Triple M Harvey Norman scoreboard.
Won the last 2 clearances, the Hawks, and they've both resulted in scores. So clearances and ruck work is so important.
Yeah, work rate's gone up. A good tackle late on Harry O'Brien as he got his kick to the wing for the Pies. It bounced to the boundary line. Medhurst first there, but off his chest. It goes out. True wing position, southern side of the ground.
Carlton draft stats and Luke Hodge, he's the number 1 ranked player on the ground. 14 disposals, but also 5 clearances.
Renouf and Fraser do the ruck work. Bateman goes third man up, does well, knocks it to Mitchell. He goes to Lewis. He gets wrapped up by Medhurst. Now the kick off the ground goes to half forward for the Pies. Cloke is there, fumbles it, goes well, hard at it, and then can't control it and sees the boundary line. And the ball goes out. 4 minutes gone, second term. Collingwood 5-3-33, Hawthorn 2-5-17. Couple of goals to the Hawks only. One late in the first quarter, one early in this second term.
Good boundary throw in. Fraser in front of Renouf. Trying to work it out was Hodge. In there again, second effort in a huge pack of plays. He's brilliant. Got a handball to Bateman. Another one, Guerra. He wants to handball Peterson. He's right in the centre of the MCG. Handballs back to Guerra. They're virtually worked backwards, but it's okay because Stratton coming off half-back receives the handball. Long bomb, one-on-one. Brown up, can't mark. Goes back onto it, ground level for the Hawks. Off his boot. Went to tap it about 2 metres. Just come off a bit fierce and went 10 metres over the boundary line. Boundary throw in 65 round from the Hawks goal.
Travis Cloke just looks like a man who's down on confidence at the moment. It's not that he's getting beaten one-on-one in contests. He's actually not making the contest at the moment. He actually hasn't been in 3 or 4 contests for the whole game.
Umpire brings it in. Half back for the Pies. McCaffrey combines well with Didak. Didak runs broadcast side. Uses his left foot. Normally so accurate. Hits Cloke's knees. He sees it out over the boundary line. Couldn't control it, Travis Cloke. Sean Makers riding him hard to the boundary line. True man, very good at giving us crowd guesstimations. How many do you think here?
60,000 Carlton draft stats.
Okay, Fraser knocks it down, finds Mitchell for the Hawks. He goes to Ladson, quickly to Birchall. Birchall brings it into the middle. A chance for Gillen. He links up with Lewis. Lewis's left boot goes searching for Rioli and finds him. He drops it, still has time to go back and get it. Harry O'Brien corrals him. Rioli tries to take him on, does well, still squeezes the kick in the rough head direction. But the skipper for the Pies, Nick Maxwell, goes back with the fly to the ball. Almost trademark Maxwell. Does well, relieves for them now.
Handballs over the top to Thomas and sets the Pies away with the handballs to Beams, now to O'Brien, then to Shaw. They've worked it to the wing. Now a kick, Lockyer. A little bit too high for him, threw up one arm and off his hands it went out of bounds.
Terrific courage by Maxwell going back then, and it's very courageous because he actually had a look and he knew what was coming. So he actually looked, knew what was coming, still threw his body at it. It's almost better sometimes when you run back and you actually don't know what's coming, so you don't know when the hit's coming, so you feel a little bit more courageous. When you actually look and you see what's coming, you think, oh Jesus, I've got to go here, I've got to go, and you just hope to God that you don't get hit. And Maxwell, absolutely fantastic courage as a skipper.
So the umpire will throw it in underneath. Light Tower 4, Great Southern stand side. Renoff wins it, gives it to Hodge. Hodge gets caught high, plays it pretty well. Umpire says, well done, we'll give it to you. Absolutely there, make no mistake about it. Gives it to Mitchell, does Hodge. The skipper goes through the middle of the ground. Chance for Whitecross, couldn't take it. Medhurst for the Pies is terrific. Rebounds well, measures the kick to Lockyer. The kick's great. Lockyer's kick goes in the Cloke direction. It's equally as good, and Cloke marks. 30 out, 10 metres in from the boundary line, left forward pocket, so it doesn't favour his left boot. But he's kicking the punt road end, and he's taking his glove off, and he's going to have a crack at it, Brownie.
He's got the sort of arc here like Buddy Franklin on this left-hand side, that he's got that big left-footer's arc that he can bring it back from right to left. So left-footers who have an arc don't actually mind kicking it from this side.
Well, he just warms up, goes through it mentally. There's a couple of practice swings, Brownie, in or out?
I'll back him in.
So Cloke from 45 hits it pretty well, but it stays left, straight as an arrow, no arc at all. Collingwood squeeze out 5-4, 34. Hawthorn 2-5, 17. We've played 7 3/4 minutes. Second quarter, Triple M Harvey Norman scoreboard.
Ladson at full back. He's got Whitecross in the back pocket, showing makers. Ladson kicks it to himself, plays on. Oh, he bounced it, nearly bounced away from him, but ran back onto it, was okay. The short kick, though, wasn't good. Jolly in front brings it to ground. Side bottom gave it to Booms. He was tackled. Pies hold it up at half forward as Osborne tries to burrow through the pack for Hawthorn. O'Brien there again for Collingwood, holding them up. Beams, big pack of players, ball still in dispute. McCaffer now, back of the pack is Shaw. He waited for it, picked it up cleanly, bombed it back long inside forward 50. Cloke up, off hands Medhurst. The umpire's whistle's gone as Medhurst put it through for a goal, but it's going to be a free kick to Cloke. In the marking contest, no advantage paid, and Cloke will go back 35 out directly in front.
Why no advantage paid, Brandon?
I think the umpire didn't know what was going on. He took his eyes off the ball, the umpire. He paid the free kick, and he was just rushing in to make sure that Cloke had the free kick. He didn't actually see that Medhurst had played on with the ball, and the rules are if he plays on and kicks a goal, the umpire just switched off then and was totally focused on the free kick he was giving away.
Needs this for his confidence. Cloke needs to put it through. Travis Cloke for the Pies. 34 plays 17 before the kick. He's 40 out directly in front. Needs to split the sticks. Just bang it through. He goes long, goes strong. He loves it. And the Pies have got their 6. They'll go to 6-4-40. Hawthorn 2-5, 17. Triple M Harvey Norman scoreboard. Let's go down to Robbo.
Just a quick thing, Michael Osborne on the outer side in the last contest at half-back. Got a smash on the left-hand side of Cork. He's staying on the ground, but he's going to have to run that out.
Luke Ball's back out there, but Collingwood's zone at the moment is giving Hawthorn a lot of problems. Collingwood are employing a 18-man zone, so they've got 3 going across the half-back line or the centre line at the moment, and Hawthorn just can't find a way through it. That's 3 or 4 times now they've been under pressure right on their last line because Collingwood's zone has been so effective. The whole zone moves, and gone are the days where you just stand in the zone, put your hands up and think, geez, I hope it doesn't come this way. All the Collingwood players are moving, which makes it hard for the Hawthorn players to spot up a target.
So Cloke has 1-1-1-1 so far in season 2010. Like a good form line next to a good racehorse. Umpire bounces in the middle of the ground. Ball spills out to the wing, out of sight. Hard ball to win. A heap of players from both sides gather around it. Wellingham goes and wins the loose ball. Gives it to Pendlebury. He goes over the top to side bottom. Gives it to Beams. Couple of young, exciting youngsters for the Pies. They link up. Backwards Beams goes to Shaw. He takes on Birchall. Takes a couple of bounces. He was really confident then kicks to half forward where Brown flies. That's Lee Brown. Brings it to ground. Guira's there for the Hawks. Stratton gets wrapped up after receiving the Guira handball, and the ball will stay inside the Pies attacking 50, and they're ferocious inside 50 tonight, the Pies too.
Well, they are. The tackles inside the forward 50. Carlton draft stats 17-3 Collingwood's way.
Bounce down inside forward 50. Magpies, Morton tries to work it out, gave it to Gillam. He was crunched at ground level, got caught high by Lockyer, who came front on, and the free kick to be paid to the Hawks. Brownie?
That's a remarkable amount of tackles, 17, and we're only 11 minutes into the second quarter. A lot of clubs' KPIs are actually trying to lay 20 tackles inside the forward 50. It's actually the hardest place to lay a tackle because the game's so open and play on these days. They don't give it back too often. So 17 tackles this stage of the game is amazing, Hammer.
What's a record, Two-Man, for a inside 50 tackle for a match? You'll get back to us, I'm sure.
I'll research that one for you, Hayne.
Well, it was a turnover. Collingwood got the mark through side bottom on the wing. A handball to Johnson, who the leader beautifully was Wellingham. He ran a long way. He took it 48 out, and he's got a 50-metre penalty because he was dragged down after he took the mark, and it'll bring him right to the goal line. A certain goal coming up for the Pies.
He's just had a brain fade there, Brett Guerra. It was clearly a mark to Wellingham, and he's come in and claimed him a couple of seconds after and thrown him to the ground. So obviously 50, he knows that he's just sat on his knees. And
Hot Pies at the MCG. Collingwood 7-4-46. The Hawks 2-5-17. Wellingham gets his first 12-minute second term. Triple M Harvey Norman scoreboard. Big brand specialist on flat screen, surround sound, home cinemas, and the home of high definition sports. And I'm sure that Michael Roberts has done plenty of his shopping time at Harvey Norman.
Thanks, Baz. And as we predicted, Michael Osman limped off. The doctors are having a look at now. It was a high corky in that last clash that he went to on the outer half-forward flank, half-back flank. He's just taken a couple of painkillers, but I reckon they have a good look at that. He's going to have to run it out, otherwise they're going to have to ice it. So he's down having some treatment now.
Carlton draft stats show Wellingham's been on fire really. 9 possessions, 5 clearances more importantly. He's kicked 1 goal too, so he's a real headache for Hawthorn. Collingwood just rested back momentum. Hawthorn had control the first 10 minutes, and a couple of quick goals have it right back where it was at quarter time.
Umpire bounces perfectly in the middle of the MCG. Mitchell goes and wins the ball as neither Ruckman could knock it one way or the other. He gives it to Hodge, who gives it back to Mitchell. Little handball finds Peterson at centre half forward. He loops it over the top to Birchall. He goes to Bateman. A little look away from Bateman as he was tackled. Had to be quick, and in the end it went to Maxwell. He gave it to Davis, and Davis, or Daisy Thomas I should say, goes wide to Davis. So Davis is ignored because Johnson picks it up, loose, kick inside to Medhurst is terrific. He's going to play on. Target this time is Fraser at full speed for Ruckman. Got the ball thumped into his chest from Medhurst, and Josh Fraser can go back and kick from make it 35. Tough sort of an angle. That's 6 or 7 metres inside from the boundary line, right half forward flank. So for a right footer, doesn't favour his right boot. Southern stand side, kicking towards the punt road end. 11 minutes to play, second term. Collingwood 46, Hawthorn 17. Just the 2 goals to Hawthorn. 2 goals, 5 they are. This for Collingwood's 8th. Fraser strikes it okay, but it goes across the face, 1 behind only. So it is a 30-point lead. Collingwood 7-5-47, Hawthorn 2-5-17. Triple M Harvey Norman scoreboard.
Guerra from the full-back kick, just a short one into the left-back pocket where Gillam's got the footy. Just spinning the ball in his hands. He wants to go short. In fact, he's going to kick right across the goal. He's defending to Schoenmakers, who marks. So the Hawks right on the last line of defence. Short kicks from full-back again, and Schoenmakers called the play on. He's got Fraser corralling him on the mark. He gets around at the last second and finds Whitecross, who was in the left-back pocket. So again, a cross goal. So the Pies just zoning up pretty well here, Brownie.
They've zoned very well all night, and Hawthorn have really battled to get it out of this back 50 a few times now.
Short kick to Murphy this time, and Murphy still on the boundary line, virtually left-back pocket. Goes short to Bateman on defensive 50. So they're finding targets, but they're very short. 20-metre drop punts. That one low to Young, and it landed at his feet. The footy's on the turf. Gillam came in and picked it up. Still at half-back for Hawthorn. Ellis gave it to Bateman. Now to Gillam. Gillam to Hodge. Hodge into the centre to Rioli. Back to Hodge. Renouf got it now, and he handballs over the top to Hodge. He's got Rioli on. Oh, he missed him with a handball and had to spin out of a tackle from side bottom. Side bottom did well to hold him up. His kick went straight to McCaffer, but McCaffer's kick under pressure is a turnover. Mitchell's got it for Hawthorn. Handballs inside to Bateman. Ran it along the ground to Moss. Left forward pocket. Maxwell's pressure was brilliant. A smother on the footy, and it's gone through for 1 point. 15 and a half into the second term. Collingwood 7-5-47. Hawthorn 2-6-18. Triple M Harvey Norman scoreboard. The TAC, please, Chairman, what's happening at the Gabba?
Bulldogs have opened up a 19-point lead. Bulldogs 6-4-40. Brisbane 2-9-21. 18 into the second.
Here's an amazing stat for you. Hawthorn, 75% of their disposals have so far been in the back half of the ground.
Shaw brings it in for the Pies. Comes to the broadcast side. Jolly the target. He marks. Long ball from Shaw. He can find some yardage, and Jolly 5 or 6 paces in from the boundary line. Broadcast side will kick long down the wing. Lee Brown the target. Lockyer is there at the fall of the ball. Lockyer is also supported by Swan, but the ball was too quick. It was fisted over the boundary line, right over the interchange gate. Broadcast side, we played 16 minutes. Collingwood 7-5-47. Hawthorn 2-6-18.
Carlton draft stats, Sam Mitchell, he's had 16 disposals, but he's only going at 56% efficiency.
Robbo down on the boundary.
Hey, I reckon they're going to try and get Michael Osman back on the ground. They've applied heat to that good rub. I reckon he'll be back on in this quarter.
Ladson's got a mark at half-back for Hawthorn. Short kick to Schoenmakers. Still at half-back. Another short one into the centre to Gillam. Handballs off to Hodge, who ran around the back. And he kicked out to Rioli on the wing on his own. He picks it up on the bounce. Got time to set up here. Goes very short. Moss in front of Maxwell. Takes the mark. Now he's right on the edge of the centre square. 70 from Hawthorn's goal. The leader's Bateman in the pocket. That's where he's gone. He's caught behind though. Running back into the hole was Shaw, who held them up. The handball comes back to Bateman though, tackled beautifully by O'Brien. Allows Prestigiacomo in his handball along the boundary line. Came off Bateman's knee and went out of bounds. The Pies relentless, 65 around from the Hawthorn goal. They're 2-6-18. Collingwood 7-5-47, 17.5 second term.
The tackling from Collingwood has absolutely been relentless, and they've had 43 tackles already, Collingwood, and they're on track for a world record of over 120 tackles here.
Chance for the Hawks, they go long, but Maxwell's there in front of Campbell Brown. He marks right at fullback. So the skipper, wearing the famous number 5, little short kick to Johnson is good. Back pocket, outer side. Pies kicking towards the punt road end. Collingwood 7-5-47. Hawthorn 2-6-18. Johnson off a couple of steps, goes to the wing. Harry O'Brien the target. Hodge muscles him out, does really well. Uses his body and goes inside. Little kick is good. Finds Lewis. So Lewis on the wing, outer side. Perfect night for football. Sees Hawthorn trailing 47-18. Lewis's kick is good to Morton. He marks right on the 50. So Morton will have to kick probably 52, I'd say, two-man.
Yeah, I reckon you're right on the money, Hayne. Carlton draft.
Just a class above everyone else, Luke Hodge, out there at the moment. I mean, the side's losing, but he never gets pushed off the ball. He's got such a physical presence out there. He's not a huge man, but what he does, when you sit up here and watch, is outstanding for his team.
Lewis and Bateman at the moment, the only goal scorers for Hawthorn. Can Morton add to that? Kicks. It's got the distance. No, it's going to fall short. Goes off hands, one behind. So they're struggling to find goals at the moment, Hawthorn. Collingwood 7-5-47. Hawthorn 2-7-19. It is all the Pies. Triple M Harvey Norman scoreboard.
Short of Maxwell from fullback, 2 bounces. Handball over the top to O'Brien. Back to Shaw, who's run on. He's virtually on the wing now, outer side. Beautiful short kick to side bottom. Over the top by hand to Shaw again. Now he's heading to half forward. Low drop punt to Beams. He marks 60 out. Players inside. Medhurst is short. Swan short. He's got longer Davis. He goes to Davis on a lead. Beautiful. Great footy Pies. 35 out, 45-degree angle. Leon Davis will go back and have a shot.
Fantastic movement by Collingwood all the way down. Heath Shaw, I reckon he's just about the premier half-back flanker running defender at the moment in the competition. But the Collingwood forward line then just worked in unison beautifully. Medhurst had 3 leads, got out of the hole from leading hard. His opponent had to go with him, which meant he couldn't double back. Leon Davis comes straight up the middle. So when all your forwards move, that allows open spaces and holes to pop up for someone else to move into. So sometimes you're not going to be getting the ball, but you're creating a path for someone else.
Drops it onto his right boot, does Leon. Will it be his first for the night? No, he's kicked 2 behinds thus far now. That one across the face. Collingwood 7-6-48 in control at the moment. Hawthorn 2-7-19. Triple M Harvey Norman scoreboard for the TAC. If you're only a little bit overdue, man, you know you are a bloody idiot. What's happening at the Gabba?
Bulldogs by 24 over the Lions. Bulldogs 7-5-47. Brisbane 2-11-23. 22 into the second.
The Hawks have won their last 4 matches against Collingwood by an average margin of 43, but tonight the Pies are flying. 7-6-48. Hawthorn 2-7-19. Hawks bring it in. They've gone short. They've been asked to play on Schoenmakers. Got to find a target. He can't. Goes the way of Jolly. He couldn't take it cleanly. Fumbles the ball. He's on the attacking 50 for the Pies. Heap of Hawks come and give support. Peterson's there. Sort of paddles it to Bateman, but Didak's strong with a tackle. And it's a free kick. It's going the way of the Hawks. Tackled too strong, probably over the neck of Bateman. So it'll end up with Bateman. Half-back flank for the Hawks. He's going back to full-back. They're struggling to get it out of the defensive 50.
But Murphy's got it now. Kicks across the goal. He's defending the Mitchell. And he just holds it up at right half-back for the Hawks. Under pressure they are. Stratton's the target. Low drop punt landed at his toes. Sandwich in between two Collingwood players. The ball out of bounds. Good result for that young man and for Hawthorn. 70 around from the Pies goal out of sight of the ground. The Pies 48, Hawthorn 19. Triple M Harvey Norman scoreboard. We're 21 and a half into the second term. Here's the great man Hamish McLaughlin. Triple M rocking Saturday night footy.
Birchlet centre half back receives a kick out of the stoppage. Gives it to Gillen, but the umpire's found a free kick and given 50. In the OPSM replay, Brown, I'm not sure what it was for.
I think he just ran too close to the man with the ball then. Just an innocuous thing. He didn't realise what he'd done, but the umpire was right onto it.
Birchall's little kick was meant for Roughhead. It was a pretty ordinary kick, and Didak can mop up for the Pies. He read it well and then switched the play to the outer side and hit Shaw half-back flank underneath the great southern stand. His little kick is good, finds Pendlebury about 60 from the Hawthorn goal. Pendlebury goes further afield and wider to the wing and hits Lockyer. Lockyer marks in front of Peterson, so Lockyer holds it and waits. 136 consecutive games, extraordinary record for Lockyer. Inside they come, through the middle of the Pies. Pendlebury has it. Little right foot kick goes wide to Harry O. Bouncing ball, okay. Picks it up, now goes long down the wing. Out of side, Harry O hits Cloke, who marks on the lead. Nice strong ball from Cloke. He now goes long to full forward. Leon's there. Three Hawks swarm Davis. Might yet stay in for Wellingham. Doesn't. Birchall and Wellingham and Davis see it out. 20 around from the Collingwood goal. Collingwood 48, Hawthorn 19, 4.5 to play in this first half of footy. Harvey Norman scoreboard. Brownie?
Just to give you an idea of Collingwood's pressure, 46 tackles so far, still probably 6 or 7 minutes to go. Their record for Collingwood was 94, so they're well on track to beat their tackling record.
They're on tonight, the Pies. The boundary throw in inside their forward 50. The ball's close to the boundary line. Grabbed by Tuvey. Pushed off his kick. A left footer towards the pocket. Brown sandwiched in between Gillam as one Hawthorn defender bumps him out of bounds, and we'll have a boundary throw in right up against the point post for Collingwood. 48 plays 19, 23 now into the second term. Triple M Harvey Norman scoreboard. The Pies pressing for their 8th.
Deep into attack. Pies a chance. Leon roves, picks it up, snaps around the corner. Neon Saturday night football fever. Collingwood have their 8th. 8-6-54, Hawthorn 2-7-19, and he's been threatening for a while, Leon, and he was good here, roving out the back of the pack, picked up the loose ball, 3 strides around the corner from 20 over the shoulder. Brownie's exciting to watch.
It's exciting to see that, and it's a talent that you can't teach, talent that you take your man into the contest and then lose him in the traffic and then still have the nerve to pick up the ball without even looking at the goals, know where the goals are and swing it back. The easiest way to lose your backman in a boundary throwing contest is actually go into the pack, and Leon went straight through the middle of the pack, collected the ball, lost his opponent, which was Guerra at the time, and it's just magic to watch.
Carlton draft stats, Hawthorn are averaging 160 handballs this season. They've already racked up 102, not even nearing half-time.
Thanks to McDonald's, Triple M rocking Saturday night footy. Swan out of the centre, just through boot to ball, and he kicked it to half forward. Fraser gave it to Thomas. Thomas over the top to side bottom. Handballs backwards to Swan, who's run on. Nowhere to go. Good tackle, Peterson. Beautiful tackle, Peterson, and the ball will go out of bounds. 50 metres around from the Pies goal.
I reckon there's 2 sides turned up tonight, but only one side has turned up for the contest, and that's Collingwood. Hawthorn don't really want to get their hands dirty at the moment.
Round 1, Collingwood turned up and beat the Dogs. They look like they did then. They're very, very quick, ferocious. Two-man, you commentated and called and statted that match.
That's exactly right. They're on fire that day. They absolutely smashed the Bulldogs on the contested ball in that game. They're doing it tonight.
Well, Hawthorn try and work it out of their defensive 50. Hodge goes backwards to Quira. It's at full back for the Hawks. He ducks and weaves and gets away from Beams. Loops the handball. But Ellis is sieged upon by Dane Swan. And they've kept it in again. It's a ferocious attack on the ball from the Pies. And as Brownie said, we thought it was going to be a tough, tight contest. Collingwood are tough, but the Hawks at the moment going slowly at it. Umpire unloads, brings it in, falls to ground. Luke Ball picks up the ball and gets tackled by Peterson and Young. Umpire says it's not going to go anywhere. How many for Luke Ball tonight, please, Stuart?
5 Carlton draft stats, 62% game time.
They've actually found a free kick. It's going Luke Ball. They set too high on Luke Ball.
Too high on the OPSM replay screen there, Hammer.
Okay, well, Luke Ball will be kicking from, I reckon, too far out. I reckon it'll be about 52, 3 metres. And You back him in, Brownie, if you like, but
No.
I think he's struggling from...
He should not have a shot from here. Luke Ball should know his distance is about 48, 45. He should be setting this up to the top of the square or trying to lay it off.
I'm now very nervous because I've said he won't make the distance. I get the feeling he put him in the third row on the back of that. Unloads from 50, right on 50. Kick falls short, goes to the top of the square, not even there. Comes off Hawk's hands, falls to Steele's side bottom. He roves and on his left puts another through. Collingwood have got 9. Steele has 1. And the earliest try of all time. Collingwood aren't losing this match tonight. They are here to win 4 points. Collingwood 9-6-60. Hawthorn 2-7-19. Biggest lead of the match is 41 points. Collingwood own it. Harvey Norman scoreboard.
Big Brent Renouf, they're all 200 centimetres and 98 kilos of him. The ball fell short. There was 2 players, him and Ladson, and only one Collingwood player, Lee Brown. All you needed to do was get it over the back and get it over for a point. But the ball spilt to the front. When you're on the line, make sure you bring it down and make sure it's a point. Just gave Collingwood another opportunity to goal. Still side bottom's the only man who stayed down because Ladson went up too. And if you're staying down and everyone else doesn't clear the ball hammer, you're a big chance to get the goal.
They've kicked the last 4, Baz.
Yes, they have. And, well, maybe the Hawks tonight need to draw that line in the sand again at half-time because the Pies are all over him. Jolly out of the centre was brilliant. Ran onto his foot. He kicked the full forward. Back of the pack, Davis was up. Hawthorn this time out of trouble through Murphy in the back pocket. Short kicked the half-back. Alice was there. Couldn't mark. Good spoil was Lockyer. Guerra made the body contest, but Steele side-bottom grabbed the footy. Kick smothered and goes out of bounds. 48 again around from the Collingwood goal.
Pressure again. Hawthorn can't clear the ball at the moment.
They're really struggling to get it out of their defensive 50. The umpire will throw it back into play. 45 around from the Collingwood goal. The umpire's found a free kick before either ruckman have to do any work at all.
Alistair Clarkson needs to get his prime movers on the ball. He needs to get Luke Hodge playing on the ball. He needs to bring Rioli up on the ball. He needs to put Bateman on the ball. He needs to put all his guns on the ball, start getting their hands on the football and getting some football going their way. Because at the moment, they're not getting the ball going their way. Carl Peterson's playing in the middle. Rick Ladson's had some time in the middle. He needs his stars in the middle of the ground.
Minute and a half to play in this first half of football sees Collingwood 60, Hawthorn 19 as the ball goes over the boundary line far side. Tuman, before we get to half-time, which is a minute 34 away, I would like to get you to tell the listeners who of the Hawthorn best 22 is not playing tonight.
That's a very good question, Haim. They've got a fair list. Buddy Franklin would be one of them for sure.
Brad Sewell.
Along with Brad Sewell.
Well, giving you a minute and a half. You didn't have to go off the top. You've done unbelievable.
And, of course, the big blow for him is their new recruit, Josh Gibson. He's going to be out for a long time this year.
3 big outs, but the Hawks need to regroup. Bounce down, still at half forward Collingwood. Big pack around this, throw a blanket over 12. Lee Brown was clever with a tap inside forward 50, which Swan ran onto from 40 and put it through. The Pies are all over the Hawks here tonight. Collingwood will go to 10-6, and that will be 66. Hawthorn 2-7-19. Triple M Harvey Norman scoreboard. Brownie, we're 29 points into the second term. Just before you for the TAC Two-Man, please. What's happening at the Gabba?
Bulldogs lead the Lions by 24 points. 9-5-59 to Brisbane. 4-11-35 nearing half-time.
Anyone else you'd like to add to the best 22, Chu? Yeah, you did very well in about 9 seconds.
Also, Sean Burgoyne, another new recruit, and their big ruckman, Simon Taylor, have been hammered in the tall-man department this year.
And Liam Shields is he still on suspension?
Yes, he is, actually, from the other week.
So they've got a heap out, but tonight they're struggling against a ferocious Collingwood outfit. 10-6-66, Hawthorn 2-7-19. Those 2 goals for the Hawks through Lewis and Bateman. One late in the first quarter and one at the very start of this term. Through the middle of the ground, Birchall tries to find some space. He gives it to Ellis, who gives it to Gillen, who goes to Bateman, who goes to Lewis. He kicks inside 50. Unbelievably accurate kick. Hit Moss at flat speed. Both the ball and Moss. Together they collided. Moss was good enough to hold on to it. Then finds Roughhead. It's Roughhead. Roughhead marks 45 out. 45-degree angle. No, it's worse than that, but it's in the right forward pocket. He's on his left boot, kicking towards the city end. 30.5 minutes gone in this second term. 66 plays at 19. Roughhead kicks. They need this, the Hawks. Goes across the face, one behind. So it's a tough evening at the moment, accuracy-wise. 2-8-20. Plays 10-6-66, a 46-point lead to the Collingwood Football Club Harvey Norman scoreboard.
Short from full-back, short to Prestigiacomo. Lovely handball to Johnson. Another one to Tuvey. They're just running in numbers and backing each other up. Tuvey's handball back to Johnson, puts him under pressure. Only one to beat in Roughhead with a handball back to Tuvey. Runs the boundary line, kicks across the wing. Brown up, won't mark. Ball bounces over the line. White cross there for Hawthorn. Make sure.
Maybe one thing Hawthorn can do in the second half is sack the rolling zone and go one-on-one. At the moment, Collingwood's skill level, they're just pinging it straight through this rolling zone, and once they get through it, a lot of the Hawthorn defenders never actually had to play one-on-one because their midfield's always done the job in the last couple of years. So one thing they could do is go one-on-one to get this game back on their terms.
Half-time here at the MCG. It's all about the Magpies, I should say. 46 points they are up at half-time. At quarter travelling 31 and a half minutes. Triple M Harvey Norman scoreboard. Collingwood 10-6-66. Hawthorn 2 goals, 8-20. And thanks to McDonald's, Triple M rocking Saturday night footy.
This quarter was brought to you by Harvey Norman, your electrical big brand specialist.
For McDonald's,
Triple M rocks football.
you love your footy on Triple M.
Triple M.
That's why you're here.
So now we're making sure you don't have to wait till the weekend to get all the big footy stories.
Eddie Maguire and Luke Darcy give you the inside word on footy.
In the hot breakfast every day.
Brendan Favola has admitted that he's got a gambling addiction.
And midweek, Brayshaw and Brownless drive you home with the rush hour.
We then saw the Richmond boys after the game up there in Sydney.
2 big shows, so now you don't have to go anywhere else to hear the footy first.
105.1 Triple M.
Mate, what happened? You're covered in shit. Mud, mate, it's mud. And your trail bike, you've been storing out in a swamp.
Been bush bashing, hours of fun.
Yeah, now you got hours of cleaning.
She'll take no time. Got a Karcher high pressure cleaner.
With water restrictions, you'll be lynched.
The Karcher uses 80% less water than a garden hose, is up to 35 times more powerful, plus I can use a water tank or a bucket of recycled water.
Sweet, I'll get me boat. You can clean that too.
If you're going to play dirty, you better get a Karcher, the #1 high pressure cleaner with the Smart Approved Watermark stamp of approval. Karcher, at all good hardware stores and leading retail outlets.
Daddy, what's heaven like?
Well, for me, it's a reserved seat on the wing at Etihad Stadium for every single sporting event, with VIP service and exclusive bars and restaurants, and the guaranteed right to a ticket to the Toyota AFL Grand Final, and I can take my mates and clients and...
Daddy.
Yes?
Would you stop banging on about the Medallion Club?
Sorry, darling. But the gates to sporting heaven are open. Call Medallion Club on 1300 650 325 or visit medallionclub.com.au.
Daddy!
Well, starting Monday with the Herald Sun, there's footy cards to collect, don't miss a single one. They're little things, but they make us smile. We'll collect the set, now it's all worthwhile. 'Cause there's one day in April, footy fans be grateful, there isn't any doubt.
Don't miss your official AFL Collector Card album, free with this Monday's Herald Sun.
Herald Sun, $1.10.
Signs you love apples. You insist on getting to the core of every problem. You think there's one thing wrong with toffee apples. The toffee. You visited the Big Apple 32 times. You forbid people from calling it the forbidden fruit. The apple of your eye is an apple. And you have your eye firmly fixed on McDonald's for dinner, where you can get 4 hot apple pies for just $4.95 with any family dinner box. Available from 5 to 11 p.m. at participating restaurants for a limited time only. So how do you like them apples?
IGA Liquor is the local with a lot. That's 'cause we're local, not 10 k's down the road. If we were, we'd be called the far, far away place with a lot. Plus, we've got a great range of fantastic liquor. That's why we're not called a local with not very much stuff. And IGA Liquor gives you brilliant service and low prices every day. Otherwise, we'd be called the local with a lot, but with an asterisk next to it and some tiny print that says, except for brilliant service and low prices every day. So if you want convenience, a great range, brilliant service and low liquor prices every day, don't go to the far, far away place with stuff all. Come to IGA Liquor, the local with the lot.
After the footy, are you going home to a cold house? We'll talk to Bonaire, the leaders in home heating and cooling. We've got the hottest deals in whole-of-home gas-ducted heating, including the Compact's new M Series. You can stay as warm as toast, even if you freeze at the footy. Call Bonaire now on 1300 152 387 or visit bonaire.com.au and get some winter cheer. Bonaire, the leaders in heating and cooling.
For McDonald's,
Triple M rocks football. This halftime break is brought to you by Fair Income Sheds. Real sheds, real value.
Great to have you covered here tonight live from the MCG. Thanks to Macca's Triple M rocking Saturday night football. It's all about Collingwood. They lead by 46 points at half-time over a disappointing Hawthorn. Dale Thomas, the only multiple goal scorer on the ground with 2 goals. Both of those came in the first term. For the TAC, Two-Man, let's go around the grounds. If you are only a little bit over, you are a bloody idiot. You know that. You should get a taxi. Now, what's happening up at the Gabba? It is half-time.
Bulldogs kicked 7 goals to 2 in that second term to open up a 24-point lead at half-time. Bulldogs 9-5-59 to Brisbane 4-11-35. The major goal kicker on the ground is Barry Hoare. He has snaffled 4 majors, 2 to Addison and Gene Siracusa. Brendan Favola, Barry, just the 2 behind for Carlton Draft Stats.
Big Bazza settled down.
He's settled down with the goal kicking, that's for sure. He's nailed 4, so getting on with his football.
What did he do earlier, Two-Man? It was a bit of an incident around about quarter time.
Yeah, it was. It was building up because just before the opening bounce, Daniel Merritt and a couple of other Brisbane defenders were really roughing him up. And just before quarter time, Barry Hoare gave Daniel Merritt a bit of a quick left jab to the face. It was that quick that Brownie didn't see it. So we'll see what transpires during the week for Barry Hoare.
Well, after that, Two-Man, you can take the night off. Why don't you go and grab a new family dinner box from participating McDonald's? They're just around the corner in Victoria Parade. It's open until 11 o'clock. In fact, no, I'll change my mind. You're doing a fantastic job, so continue on with please with the Triple M Carlton Draft Stats. Carlton Draft, of course, the proud supporter of footy since 1877, and in anyone's language, that's a very long time. Two-Man, what do the stats tell us at half-time before we go to Brownie?
Well, Collingwood are dominating some of the key stats here. Hawthorn, they've had 30 more disposals, but the inside 50 is 28-16 Collingwood's way. The tackles inside the forward 50, 18-3, as Brownie spoke about earlier, Collingwood's way. Overall, 48-22. They're on track for their record, Collingwood. Their record is 94. The contested possessions in the midfield, 42-29, the Magpies' way. The leading ball winners on the ground is pretty much an even performance for the Magpies. 14 to side bottom, 12 to Swan, 11 to Shaw. Wellingham, 10 possessions, 5 clearances and 1 goal. For the Hawks, Hodge has already picked up 24 disposals along with 9 clearances. Mitchell's had 17, but he's going at 53% efficiency. Bateman also with 17. And for the Herald Sun Supercoach ranking points, Luke Hodge clearly leads the way with 94, followed by Sidebottom with 77.
Great work, Ash. And of course, Nathan Brown will be voting on Triple M's Best on Ground, the Bonaire Best on Ground Award, the compact new M Series. Gas ducted heaters are easy to install, small yet very powerful. Why don't you call Bonaire on 1300 152 387 or visit bonaire.com.au. Brownie, 2-time All-Australian, one of the greatest men ever born. Who's captured your eye at half-time?
Well, there's been a few players caught my eye at half-time. Alan Dialak was very good early. He was shut down a little bit in that second quarter, but Paul Medhurst has been roaming around a half-forward line playing some very good football, and the other guy who's been very impressive tonight has had a bit of pressure under him. Mark Stevens is always into him. Dale Thomas has been very good tonight, kicked a couple, set a few up, but Collingwood's pressure overall has been the one thing that's impressed me. They've had 47 tackles to 22, and Hawthorn have had 75% of their ball in their back half. That's because Collingwood's pressure has been absolutely at fever pitch. Every time Hawthorn try to get out of their back end, there are Collingwood players all over them. They're swarming. They're looking up and they see Collingwood players. They're under perceived pressure. Like Two-Man said, Sam Mitchell's had 17 touches, but they've all been under pressure. He's turned it over. He's made mistakes. They've had such an even contribution, Collingwood. Like Swans had 12, Shaw 11, Beams 10, Wellingham 10, Davis 10, whereas Luke Hodge has had 24. He's been the one standout, but he can't do it all on his own. They can't get the ball inside 50 at the moment, Hawthorn, because Collingwood's pressure is just is too good. They're not winning it out of the clearances. Collingwood are dominating the clearances, and that's because of the 2 big men, Jolly and Fraser. We're starting to see the impact that Darren Jolly can have at this football club. Josh Fraser allowed to push forward there a couple of times, had a shot at goal, could have kicked one, but having a 2-pronged ruck attack like they've got at the moment is a luxury that Hawthorn don't have. You can throw Lee Brown in there. He's a bit of a swing man at the moment, and he's doing some good work, but Hawthorn have got a lot of work to do. They're getting absolutely smashed through their mid-zone, and when Collingwood get it inside 50, Hawthorn, they don't actually have to defend that often because they play that rolling zone, and when they're forced to defend one-on-one, they sometimes come up wanting because guys like Birchall, guys like Guerra, guys like Ladson have never had to actually defend one-on-one because Hawthorn have been so good the last couple of years. They've dominated possession, and it's been hard to get it through. Then they do. It's they've always had numbers back, but Collingwood have been moving it so quickly through there that Hawthorn can't keep up, and they've been found wanting a few times.
You thought Collingwood before the game. Are you surprised by the margin at half-time, 46 points? And what's Alistair Clarkson going to be saying to the group? They've kicked 2 goals up till half-time. Have they still got their eyes on the 4 points, or are they just totally demoralised at this stage of the game?
I don't think they've got their eyes on the 4 points. They'll go out there and they'll think they can win the game, but 46 points down says they can't. I'm very surprised that Collingwood are 46 points up. They've played very well, but Hawthorn have been awful. They've turned the ball over when there hasn't actually been any pressure on. That's perceived pressure. Alistair Clarkson will be in there at the moment, ripping shreds through them, telling them that they need to win first hands of the ball. Get your hands dirty, get your knees dirty, get in, win the ball, and give our forwards a chance. Jared Ruffhead's been quiet, but it's because of lack of opportunity. The ball just hasn't been up there. They've only had the 16 inside 50s, and that'd be just about a world record low for Hawthorn at half-time.
That's Nathan Brown. He's one of the game's greats. He's had his say. Why don't you have your say and send us an SMS? Send us a text on 1999 1051. You might be a happy magpie, or you might be a very, very disappointed hawk. What have you got to say? 1999 1051. Send it directly to the great man sitting right behind me, Nathan Brown, two-time All-Australian here at the MCG tonight. It's Collingwood by 46 points. It's half-time at the home of football, and thanks to McDonald's, Triple M rocks footy.
This halftime break was brought to you by Fair Income Sheds. Real sheds, real value.
From McDonald's.
Triple M rocks football.
You told us this was the best rock album of all time. And that this was the world's greatest rock song. Now, Triple M will answer the music world's biggest question. Who is the greatest rock artist ever?
Guns N' Roses.
Killers.
Nirvana. Floyd.
Chili Peppers. Foo Fighters. The 100 greatest rock artists ever. Starts after Anzac Day on Triple M.
Hi Magpie fans, Nathan Buckley here. Anzac Day is one of the biggest sporting events on the Australian calendar. Tickets are hard to get, and we want the Magpie Army there in force this Anzac Day. For only $150, become an official member. Get a premium reserved seat to Anzac Day and home games against the Tigers and Crows, a 2010 members cap and finals ticket access. The Anzac Day membership can be yours by calling 1300 Magpie or by visiting the website at collingwoodfc.com.au. Go Pies!
It started in a small factory in Footscray, Victoria, survived a factory fire and a world war, and grew into an Australian icon. Lockwood Locks have secured our homes for over 75 years, so chances are the lock on your dad's door and his dad's before him was a Lockwood. Today, Lockwood has a new generation of locks that'll keep your family safe and secure now and in the future. Trust Lockwood Locks, because if you haven't locked up with Lockwood, have you really locked up?
Are you building or renovating? Want the absolute best price on big brands? Bourne Bathroom and Kitchen's Big Brand Sale is the answer. Full ceramic designer toilet suites were $220, now a crazy $129. Designer kitchen sink mixers were $100, now a crazy $29. Bourne's huge showrooms are filled with major brands. Caroma, Villeroy and Boch, Medhurst, Dorf, all heavily discounted. Rush into Bourne Bathrooms right now for big brand deals. Keysborough, Flemington, Heathmont, Faulkner and Clifton Hill. Go to bournebathrooms.com.au.
Nick the Tile Liquidator here. Tile Liquidators is the only tile company in Melbourne where every wall and floor tile is under $15 per square metre. At Tile Liquidators, we've got thousands of metres of wall and floor tiles displayed in one huge warehouse. And yes, right now, every tile is under $15 per square metre. So rush into Tile Liquidators now and save. Tile Liquidators, Smith Street, Port Melbourne, open 7 days.
Australia's largest celebration of young people is about to begin, and this is your chance to live it now. No matter what it is for you, you can get involved and make your mark. Events will be launching across the country, run by young people for young people. From music and festivals to sporting events and talent competitions, this is your opportunity to make your voice heard. National Youth Week from April 10 to 18, 2010. Visit youthweek.com today and live it now.
Hi Magpie fans, Nathan Buckley here. Anzac Day is one of the biggest sporting events on the Australian calendar. Tickets are hard to get, and we want the Magpie Army there in force this Anzac Day. For only $150, become an official member. Get a premium reserved seat to Anzac Day and home games against the Tigers and Crows, a 2010 members cap and finals ticket access. The Anzac Day membership can be yours by calling 1300 Magpie or by visiting the website at collingwoodfc.com.au. Go Pies.
Shut up! The foot is on the radio!
From McDonald's.
Triple M rocks football.
This quarter is brought to you by Lockwood. When it comes to security, there's no substitute for Lockwood.
Saturday night football at the MCG. Collingwood 10-6-66. They are in control. Hawthorn 2-8-20. It's a beautiful night for football. Two-man, how many do you think were here at the MCG?
60,000 bare minimum, I reckon.
Well, the other week we asked you how many. You said 71,000. There was 71,006. You've obviously got very close to the pin a lot of times. 133353. We'll talk to you after the game. 1999 1051. Your text. Few texts have come through, Baz, talking about how times change in football.
Yes, Paul says the Pies are electric. Hawks are under siege. 2 years ago, Collingwood couldn't get through the Hawks zone. How times have changed. They certainly have tonight, Brownie.
Oh, they have, and it's been through absolute precision football through the middle. And earlier, the Collingwood 1 goal 4. So since then, they've actually kicked 9 goals 2, which has been terrific conversion.
Now we've got Dave from Sunshine, Brownie, who's ripped into you. Said you were talking about players who put their head over the footy. He reckons you never did. What do you got to say to that?
Oh, I occasionally put my head over the ball, Baz, but easy from the cheap seats up here these days. But I'd like to think occasionally I did. Who was that?
Dave from Sunshine.
Thanks, Dave.
Yeah, nice sledge from Dave. Guys, here's the evidence is our next one. The Gold Coast have already signed Brown Roughhead, and who knows else, from Greg from Pakenham, that was. Few rumours flying around with the signings from up in the Gold Coast.
There's going to be rumours all year, Hammer, about players going to the Gold Coast, who's signed, who's not, who's spoken to them. That's going to go on all year. It's going to be interesting, but I think fuel on the fire for these sort of things. I mean, I don't think Jared Roughhead's going anywhere.
I was interested to speak to Buddy Franklin before, and he hasn't signed, as Steve alluded to in the pre-game, and all the focus has been on Gary Ablett, and whether or not he has or has not signed, it's going to continue. Buddy's got out of it pretty lightly, given where he's at contractually.
He certainly has. I mean, he's the most exciting player in the game, and if you stood them side by side and you said, who would you rather, Gary Ablett or Lance Franklin? I'm still taking Lance Franklin every day, because a big forward, a big body forward like that, I mean, midfielders, he's a fantastic player, obviously, Gary Ablett, superstar Brownlow medalist, but guys like Lance Franklin just don't grow on trees. I mean, Geelong could go out and get another midfielder. Won't be as good, but they've got the quality of other midfielders that can cover Gary Ablett as well. But you can't take Lance Franklin out, as you've seen tonight, and expect the team to win.
True, man. I see you ferociously working through the AFL record almanac, plus giving your Ace of Gemstone a real workout. What have you come up with at half time?
I'm just preparing Choose View.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Is that
we talk about
review, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Choose View. Chew, how long have you been on Triple M?
This is my 9th year.
And everyone texts in and says, what does Chew look like, etc., etc. We've got a new segment coming up, and it starts tonight, Choose View. It's basically Choose View statistically on the round this week, last week, or going forward. It's always going to be something to hang your hat on. Chew, man, we talked also about Hawthorn, how many of the side that would normally be in the 22 weren't playing tonight. Can you go through those, and then correspondingly also give us who you think would normally walk into the Pies lineup who aren't there out there tonight?
Let's start with the Hawks. 2-year recruits Sean Burgoyne and Josh Gibson. The obvious superstar Buddy Franklin. Also Ran Hooper, another new recruit. Sewell and Taylor. So I tally up 6 there who are missing for the Hawks, who would usually make their
so
starting
a third of
22.
the starting 18. Okay, so what about the Pies?
For the Magpies, as we know, they are that even across the board, but here are some names that aren't playing, perhaps due to lack of form, but waiting in the wings. That's John Anthony, Nathan Brown, Brad Dick, is coming back from injury, Goldsack, who's thereabouts, O'Brien, who got omitted, and the one I think the Pies fans are waiting for is Sean Rusley.
How many of those, though, Chew, man, aren't playing as a result of injury? They're all just selections.
I think you're right on the money, Haim. I think Brad Dick might be the only one.
So is it Collingwood that has the best list currently injury-wise in the AFL?
I would say you're dead right for Carlton draft stats.
Well, Michael Roberts is down on the boundary line. Both sides are back out in the middle of the MCG. So too are a few coaches walking past. What do you got for us?
Well, both sides have got the full lineup out there. Darren Jolly and I can see Luke Ball. They've probably had a little bit of a treatment at half time. Cyril Rioli is the one. Michael Osborne's trying to run out that cork on the left-hand side, but Rioli came off and had 2 long rubs during that second quarter, and Whisper has it, he's finding it really difficult to drive off his legs, and I know he's missed a lot of training through the week and they've had to rest him pre-season and whatever, so let's keep an eye on Sirioli because he hasn't had the spark that he's had previously in that second quarter. He may be labouring a bit.
Just thinking also about that text, 2-time All-Australian, head over the ball. Love to see
harsh.
an All-Australian get selected if they don't. Two-man, anything else going to this second half that you can see changing?
Not when you look at the stats that Brownie's spoken about, the tackles and the contested possessions. That's all Collingwood's way, and I think it will remain that way. Carlton draft stats.
Three players who need to lift for Hawthorn efficiency by foot, and these three I've picked out. They're actually very good kicks of the football. Sam Mitchell's running at 29% kicking efficiency at the moment tonight. That's awful. Brent Guerra is a very good kick of the football too. Sets him up a lot, 33% by foot. And Birchall, who's another left footer, is a fantastic kick. He's going at 50% of the ball. So Guerra 1 in 3 hitting the target. Mitchell 1 in 4, and Birchall every second kick's missing the target. So at the moment they're just turning the ball over too much, and we've said it a few times tonight, but unless they get that part of the game right, because Collingwood's pressure isn't going to let up, they're going to find themselves further behind.
Two-man TAC, let's go around the grounds. The bookmakers had them pretty much even, those two sides up there to start the match. What's happening?
Well, it's the Western Bulldogs leading the Brisbane Lions by 23 points. 9-5-59, Brisbane 4-12-36, early stages, third quarter.
There's been some enormous bouts of inaccuracy in the competition so far this year. We saw Collingwood last week kick something like, 4 goals? 17. Today we saw Adelaide kick an extraordinary amount of points, and again tonight Hawthorn are 2 goals 8, Brisbane are 4 goals 12, so it's still one part of the game, goal kicking, that's never really improved from day dot. I mean, it should be, you should be running at 75% goal kicking. A lot of clubs this year are running at 50% too.
Stay tuned for Chew's View.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is that what we're going for?
I'm going to dissect it, Hayne. I know Mark Stevens wrote an article early in the week, but I'm going to take it to another level.
Brownie, nice segue, even though you didn't know. So is that where we're going?
Don't want me to rain on your parade.
It's whetting our listeners' appetites, that's for sure. They will not change the dial.
Baz, the second half about to get underway. Collingwood 10-6-66, Hawthorn 2-8-20.
Thanks to McDonald's, Triple M rocking footy. Beautiful Saturday night at the home of football, the MCG. Out of the centre go Collingwood. It was Swan to Johnson to Didak. Low drop punt to Fraser. Thomas off the ground into the 10-yard square. Side bottom chases it. It goes through for a point. Collingwood have started well early in the third term. One behind 10-7-67. Hawthorn's 2-8-20. And that is on the Triple M Lockwood scoreboard. If you haven't locked up with Lockwood, you really haven't locked up, Hamish.
So Guerra, 4th season as a Hawk, 3rd club, goes through the middle of the MCG. Renoff flies, Tooby's there, Mitchell goes in hard. Umpires found a free kick, it's going the way of the Pies.
I left the key out under the letterbox for me missus, so no one, if you know where I live, don't rob me, right?
Cloke from the middle of the MCG goes long to the city end. A chance for Fraser out the back. Spoil comes from Guerra. Boundary line beats all attacking Pies as they chase. Collingwood 10-7-67, 47 points. Lead the Hawks 2-8-20. That's all on the Triple M Lockwood scoreboard. Your address, please, Nathan Brown.
Bell will go back into play. Think about that one, Brownie. Ball comes in. Inside forward 50 for the Pies, who've done most of the attacking tonight. This time Hawthorn work it out. Mitchell gave it to Alice, who gave it back to Bateman. His handball backwards puts Gillum under pressure. Virtually at full back now, the Hawks. Murphy's got it. Collingwood corral. Hand pass to Bateman, runs back towards the goal. He's defending, then kicks out wide to Schoenmakers. And they're out of trouble. Little kick over the top. Rioli the target, and he's marked it at half back for the Hawks.
Rioli on the left. They've got a very good relationship, Rioli in his left foot. Finds Moss. Kick good to Morton. Runs in. Handball over the top from Morton. Settles for Roughhead. Roughhead runs to the top of the square. Hawthorn have their third. They needed that. They got one early in the second term. They've got one early in the third. Collingwood 10-7-67. Hawthorn 3-8-26. Lockwood scoreboard.
Just a start Hawthorn needed, and big Ruffy on the end of that one. Campbell Brown was screaming into the goal square for him to give the handball, but I reckon when you got the ball in the goal square, Hammy, you don't give it off too many times. But Collingwood have pushed all their players up, putting pressure on Hawthorn then. Hawthorn had on the last line of defence, and it took Chance Bateman to take the bit between the teeth, take a bit of a risk to get it out of there. A few times tonight they've been caught right on the last line of defence, and they've stuffed it up, Hawthorn. At that time, Chance Bateman took a chance, kicked it out wide, and then they got moving, and then they got through the Collingwood zone pretty easily once they actually moved the ball quickly.
For the TAC, let's go around the grounds. 2-man to the Gabba. Tommy Williams looks in trouble.
He is. He's currently being taken off on a stretcher as we speak, involved in a heavy collision with Daniel Rich in a marking contest. We'll keep an eye on that throughout the evening. But it's the Bulldogs by 28 points over the Lions 5 minutes into the third quarter.
Free kick in the centre here at the MCG to Collingwood. Swan got it for being held. Kicked it out wide to Tooby, who takes the bounce. The young man goes onto his left boot, looks inside forward 50 to Medhurst. Caught behind on this occasion. The ball goes to ground. Stratton chases it for the Hawks. They've got the numbers down there. Guerra ends up with it in the back pocket. Has to run towards the goal. He's defending again. Collingwood really putting the pressure on tonight. Ellis was clever with a little handball of Bateman, but he had nowhere to go. Waits for an option, says, please, someone come at me. He handballs it 30 metres in front of him in hope. Maxwell read it pretty well. Ran into the centre for Collingwood. Handball to Swan. Handball to Didak. Low drop punt to half forward where Big Jolly's taken the mark. 65 out.
Jolly looks for options, measures the kick, goes to Cloke. He marks. Arms outstretched. In the end, he decides not to kick. Plays on, gives it to Johnson. Johnson unloads from about 50. Boom goes the dynamite. Collingwood are away. 11-7-73. Hawthorn 3-8-26. And they're an irresistible, it's not even a word, irresistible force tonight at the MCG. Collingwood on fire and Maxwell tough with Brown.
Got any other pearlers in there?
No, got nothing left in the bag.
Words you want to invent?
It was irrepressible and irresistible, and they came together to bring out a word that hasn't yet been put in the Oxford. Disastrous night at the MCG for commentators. Very good for Collingwood, not so good for Hawks.
Tell you what the difference was then. Hawthorn won the ball again on the last line of defence, but that time they turned it over midfield. The time before that they were clean, they went the whole way through. Every time they've turned it over midfield, Collingwood just about scored tonight.
Up in the stands, Matthew Knights and Mark Harvey sitting together, two coaches, and Gary O'Donnell was sitting there as well. So two former Bombers and one now coach of the Bombers. Hodge out of the centre for Hawthorn, just bombs it to forward 50. Desperate need of goals are the Hawks. Morton on hands and knees, tries to win the footy. Brown there as well. He's tough. He'll hold it up at ground level. The umpire will come in for a bounce right on forward 50 for the Hawks.
Collingwood have been good for this position all night. From all stoppages, all boundary throw-ins, they've been able to link up with hands and forward thrust from there.
Jolly and Renoff doing the ruck work again. Luke Ball ends up with it, kicks it along the ground, side bottom quick, gives it to Pendlebury, wing out of side of the ground. Neon Lee on the target. He's got Murphy. Murphy drags him off the ball. Collingwood fans want a free kick. Davis and Murphy, they continue to battle. This time it's Murphy who wins it. Gives it to Ladson, to Ellis, to Bateman, back to Ladson. Ladson in the middle of the MCG. Handball was for Hodge. He went to ground. McCaffrey picked up the loose ball, spotted up Lockyer, and Lockyer plays on, runs to 40. Goals beckon. Lockyer just offline. The crowd was getting ready to roar. He put it wide to the right, one behind only to the Pies. Pies move along to 11-8-74. Hawthorn 3-8-26. MCG round 4 action. 5.5 gone third term.
Gillum goes for the long bomb from fullback, 60 metres straight up the ground. Renoff up, can't mark, thumped it to the front of the pack. Hawthorn with the numbers. Birchall, short little kick in towards Osborne in the centre. Osborne now looks up with the eye, spots up Rioli at half forward, grabs it on the edge of the square. Handball to Bateman, runs to forward 50. Maxwell put the pressure on with a handball. He's put it out very, very wide for Brown. Picks it up right boot. Short kick, Morton marks. 25 out, 45-degree angle. Another opportunity for Hawthorn to kick their second of the term.
Yeah, a bit of a ploy from Hawthorn then. They've been fiddling around with the ball from the kick-outs. That time, they just went long. Collingwood had all 18 players in their zone, so it took out the pressure where they didn't have to play on and try and make something. Just went long. They got all their midfielders to the front and centre of the contest, and then they went from there.
So Jared Morton, he's already kicked 4 goals for the season thus far. None tonight yet. 25 out, 45-degree angle. Throws it onto his boot and misses pretty badly. Very much to the right of point to Hawthorn. 3-9-27 are the Hawks. Collingwood 11-8-74. As Stewart for the TAC, what's happening?
Well, Brendan Favola's just kicked the goal to cut the margin back to 22 points. Brisbane 5-13-43. Bulldogs 10-5-65, 9 minutes into the third quarter.
Only a little bit over, you're a bloody idiot. Robbo down on the boundary line.
Yes, Sammy Mitchell, one of their leaders, the leader actually, into the rooms, limping in pain. We're going to keep an eye on him. Sammy.
Thanks, Robbo. Short to Daisy Thomas, who goes to Lockyer on the wing out of side. Pack forms around the ball. Going to be hard to get a clearance here. Heap of Pies jump on top of 2 Hawks sitting underneath it all. Who is it on the far side? Is it Murphy? It is Murphy. He gets up. 3 or 4 Pies get up from on top of him. The umpire bounces. In front of the great southern stand, Pendlebury does the ruck work, but the boundary line beats all players. He's going to have to bring it in out of side, do it all again, or has he found a free kick? He's going over the shoulder on Beams. High contact from Luke Hodge.
So Beams, true wing position out of side of the ground in front of the Great southern stand. It looks beautiful tonight. Wonderful night for footy. It's all about the Pies at the moment. Long kick to half forward. Morton, though. Offhands grabbed it, was tackled, went to ground. The footy spilled. Tuvey picks it up. Handled a side bottom. The two young fellas combine it. Collingwood kicks it backwards. McCaffer with the footy. Now on the wing. Looks forward. Options are plenty. Collingwood certainly running for each other tonight. Pendlebury had it. Handballed it over the top. Back to McCaffer. Has time to go onto it. It was too long for him. Back to Pendlebury. Just corralled on the wing at the moment. The Pies handball back to Steele side bottom. Eventually goes backwards to O'Brien. In fact, they've been forced back to half back with about 20 players towards the wing.
O'Brien kicks to the wing again. Beams is there, takes it on the half volley, gives it to Pendlebury by a hand. He goes backwards to Beams. Beams goes onto the right boot, kicks to half forward. Couple of Pies jump, fly. There's a fist. It's pretty good in the end from Birchall. Then Steele side bottom comes in, hits the fist and kicks a soccer ball. It goes to half forward, and it's Lockyer who marks 45 out, pretty much straight in front. The accurate one shouldn't be troubled by either the angle or the distance.
Just looking at the OPSM replay screen, Sam Mitchell getting a lot of work on his hamstrings done down on the boundary, Robbo.
Yep. Robbo just watches Lockyer line up from 45. Text from Pat from Hawthorn's come in. How many for Clint Young? As Lockyer from 48 unloads. Distance, no problem. Accuracy is this time one behind only. 9 minutes, 22nd gone. Third term, Collingwood 11.975. Hawthorn 3.927. And that is on the Harvey Norman / Lockwood.
3 touches for Clint Young. Haim Carlton draft stats for that textbook.
Ellis from the back pocket. His kick went straight to Lee Brown, who handballed to Swan, who kicks back to full forward for the Pies. 3-on-3 contest. On top of the pack was Beams. There's Medhurst lurking outside. Bottom of the pack is the footy, and the umpire says, that's okay, that one. I'll bounce it down 20 metres away from the Collingwood goal. Well in control of Pies. 10 minutes into the third term here at the MCG. Triple M Lockwood scoreboard, 75 plays 27. Another bounce. Gillam taps to the side of the pack. Medhurst again with a footy held to his chest, and the umpire says, in fact, it was Wellingham, and the umpire says, give it to me again. Still 25 out from the Collingwood goal. Throw a blanket over 20 players with this bounce.
Ends up with Bateman doing the ruck work, knocks it to Hodge. Hodge gets held. The umpire will give a free kick to Luke Hodge. Centre half back for the Hawks as we go down to Robbo.
Sammy Mitchell's just telling the physios that he's okay. He's given the nod to the bench. He's going back down in the dressing rooms, though. So something's troubling the skipper.
Hodge to Birchall. Kick was ordinary. An opportunity for the Pies to come in. Pick up the loose ball. Little kick goes to the Davis direction. He's 30 out directly in front. He can't take it cleanly. Birchall goes and grabs the loose ball. Crashing through Ellis. Heap of Pies watch on. Somehow it falls to Beams. He gives it to Renoff for the Hawks. He gives it to Ladson, who brings it wide to Moss. And he gives it to Bateman, who must cover more ground than any other Hawk. And he goes searching for an option on the left boot. The option is Rioli. Maxwell gets fist to it. Rioli picks it up. Gives it to Peterson. Peterson, little kick to Brown is good. If it was 15, it was only just. But Campbell Brown will get to kick at goal from about 48. He's kicking to the punt road end. And a badly needed goal for the Hawks, maybe around the corner. Collingwood 11.975. Hawthorn 3.927. Lockwood scoreboard. Campbell Brown will kick from 45. Daisy Thomas on the mark. Unloads, terrible, off the side of the boot. It sets it to the top of the square. It wasn't intended to go there. In the end, Maxwell, the skipper, reads it well off hands, puts boot to ball, and it goes out of the defensive 50 for the Pies and to the outer side, but Hawks have the numbers.
Certainly do. Birchall, little handball back to Stratton, low drop punt to Peterson, who let off half forward, marks in front of McCaffer, turns onto his right, the leaders Morton into the pocket. There's Harry. Just skipped in front of him and thumped it out of bounds. He's a frustrating player to play against, Brownie, no doubt out there. He's everywhere. He's like the gingerbread man.
Oh, he's quick, Harry. He can play on the bigs. He can play on the smalls. Last week he was on Milne. So he's a very talented player, and he's getting more and more confidence as he plays more football too.
Boundary throw in. Maxwell had it, lost it. It spelled to Lewis. Little handball to Birchall. High kick towards full forward. Shaw fights for it for Collingwood at full back. Dragged to the ground by Morton. Kick off the ground by Swan onto the boot of an opposing player, went out of bounds. So in the left forward pocket for the Hawks, they lock it in.
Just had a look at the OPSM replay screen. The president, Jeff Kennett, giving a fair bit of abuse. Sam and Sarah Kennedy sitting below them. Angus Kennett to his right, hiding as Jeff just unloads verbally. Not sure at who or what, but he doesn't look happy. Half back the Pies. Good Lee Brown. gives it to Lockyer. Lockyer kicks, the ball drifts towards the attacking 50. No one is there. It's a foot race. Stratton first for the Hawks. Fumbles it, tries to paddle it and find the boundary line, but Didak and Medhurst combined together. This would be some sort of a goal. Can Didak bring it back? He can't. He hits the post. Well, it was exciting to watch. One behind, only the result. 11-10-76 Collingwood. Hawthorn 3-9-27. Lockwood scoreboard down to Robbo.
Some friendly fire. Thomas Murphy staggering around there. Clocked a decent clip on the wing. Up and about now. Should be okay.
White cross to Gillum. Missed the target. Gillum at his toes had to pick it up. Gave it back to White cross across goal to Guerra. Nearly a small Didak. Guerra held his ground. Vice-like pick on the footy. Very short kick to Murphy. Just the 15, you'd think. Another short one inside defensive 50 to Mitchell. The Hawks under pressure virtually at every kick. Another one to Whitecross, who's run on. He kicks now to Bateman on the wing and he takes the mark. Bateman, who's ran his legs off tonight, kicks it to Moss, who led off half forward. Now goes short to Morton on forward 50. Maxwell read it and spoiled. Just chipped in front of him, the captain, fantastic. Handball to O'Brien. Back to Maxwell. They love him, the Pies fans. Short kick outside foot, defensive 50 to Beams. Under pressure. Little handball press to Giacomo. Over the top to Shaw. And the Pies are away from half-back. Bouncing down the outer side wing.
Takes a couple, might even have a third. Goes backwards now and uses Johnson. Hard up against the boundary line. Wing goes to Beams. Too slow. Young went in and read it better. Grabbed the football. Turns it around for the Hawks. Gives it to Bateman. Bateman off 2 steps. Long to Brown. Campbell Brown, that is. But again, Collingwood have the numbers. And it's Swan. A little kick to Wellingham. Only okay. O'Brien comes in. Umpire's blowing his whistle. Pies will be okay. They'll get a free kick right at fullback. No relief. We played, what do we had? 14 and a half minutes, 9 of game time left. Collingwood 76, Hawthorn 27.
Jolly got it. He gave it to Swan by hand. A nice 20-metre handball to O'Brien. Back to Jolly. Right foot kick now to McCaffrey on the wing. Wrestled with Guerra. Won the contest. Took the mark. McCaffrey raising in confidence every time he plays. He's at Davis very, very long. Arms still up in the air. Won't go there. We go short to Medhurst, who's made position 30 on. Little handball to Cloke. Now long to Davis. He's going to have to leap high. Leon over the back. He can't do so. And off hands, it goes out of bounds, 45 from the Collingwood goal.
Probably just need to move it more than Leon Davis. He expected a bloke to kick it 60 metres just over his opponent. Always going to be a hard kick. He was just standing there doing the bus stop lead.
Let's go around the grounds for the TAC 2-man. What's happening at the Gabba?
Lions are coming back. They trail by 15 points against the Bulldogs. Browns just put one through. So it's 9 points the margin in favour of the Bulldogs halfway into the third quarter.
Hawthorn free kick in between fullback and centre half-back. Clint Young has the ball in his hands. Brings it to his favoured left boot. Goes long down the line. The wing, the target this time Campbell Brown. But Harry O gets out of his thinking chair. Big spoil. Then goes and wins the loose ball. Gives it to Didak. Fumbles it a little. Goes backwards to Tuvey. Tuvey picks the ball off the deck. Does pretty well. Fires the handball though to side bottom. We're read it better. Coming through is Lewis. Lewis receives it. Gives it to Morton. Backwards to Mitchell. Mitchell tries to get out of the Harry O tackle. Does well, gives it to Peterson. Fraser wraps up Peterson. That's got to be close to holding the ball. Umpire says play on. Ball still on the wing. Members side. Pack of players jump on top of each other. Umpire comes in. Crowd wanted something other than that. Played 16 minutes. Collingwood 11-10-76. Hawthorn 3-9-27. Lockwood scoreboard.
Bounce on the wing, made a legal attempt to try and get rid of it, said the umpire. Did Peterson, no free kick. Tap down in the ruck, whistle goes this time. Player being held by the arm, and that was McCaffrey for Collingwood on the wing. It's got Pendlebury who leads the half forward, one-on-one contest, goes up, can't mark, good spoil Mitchell. Went down to Guerra, handball to Mitchell for Hawthorn, so they're out of trouble momentarily. White cross, received it by hand at halfback, has to go short with a kick. Back to Guerra, called to play on, not 15. Handball over the top to Mitchell. Mitchell's kick to the wing, sets Ellis a task. He takes the mark. Short little kick to Bateman, true wing position, right in front of the Triple M broadcast box. Well, we're rocking Saturday night footy here at the G.
Ellis has it now for the Hawks, fires it in towards Brown, but Swan in the end. At half-back, Brownie, they've been terrific, the Pies.
Oh, Xavier Ellis's foot skills tonight, for a good kick, he has made some poor errors of judgment tonight. How many kick clangers for Xavier Ellis, Chu?
He's racked up 3 and he's going at 33% efficiency.
Swan to Maxwell to Thomas to side bottom now. Fraser ends up with it, but the umpire's found a free kick. Centre forward for the Pies. It's going Hawthorn's way. It was a certain goal for Collingwood. Quick series of handballs and kicks ended up with Fraser running to an open goal, but the result, is a free kick to the Hawks, and it's ending up going through the middle of the ground. Mitchell receives, goes onto the left boot. Long, Brown the target, Campbell Brown that is, uses the body really well, runs onto the loose ball. Brownie should finish it. He does. Campbell Brown, he gets the Hawks fourth. It's taken a while. Collingwood 11-10-76. Hawthorn 4-9-33. A 2-goal turnaround in 30 seconds. Instead of the Pies getting one, the Hawks do it the other end. We've got 18 minutes played in this third term. Campbell Brown, first of the night for him.
They've actually found it easy to score Hawthorn when they've actually moved the ball quickly and they haven't turned it over. The 2 goals they've got this quarter have been from quick movement, which has caught out the Collingwood zone. If they could just get their hands on the ball a bit more and not turn it over, they're a chance to get back in this game. But while they continually turn it over by foot, and guys like Xavier Ellis running at 33% doesn't help, they're not going to get back into it.
Carlton Draft stats, Hawthorn have already racked up 154 handballs for the game. They usually average 160.
True man, what's happening around the grounds for the TAC?
Well, the Lions have cut the margin back to 8 points. 7-16-58 to the Bulldogs, 10-6-66, 21 into the third.
So it's 43 here in favour of Collingwood. The Hawks 2-1 in their favour in this third term. They're fighting hard for their goals though. Collingwood in possession though, side bottom. Handballs to Thomas, runs to 50, sums it up, goes long, heads for home, touched on the line by Gillum. He gave it everything, he leapt in the air, 2 fists on the footy and saved a certain goal. Hawthorn 4 goals, 9-33. Collingwood now 11-11, 77 on the Triple M Lockwood scoreboard, 19.5 third term.
Gillum brings it wide, out of sight to White Cross. He goes down the line, kick only ordinary. In fact, should have hit no one at all. It went over the boundary line, summing up Hawthorn's night. Collingwood 77, Hawthorn 33, 6:20 to go in the third term Lockwood scoreboard.
They've been taking the easy options tonight, Hawthorn. They've been going long down the lines, just going with that short little kick. They start to need to bite off a bit more than they can chew. Try and get the ball into the middle, try and take some chances, because 44 points behind, they're not going to come back without taking a few chances.
Hawthorn win this stoppage at halfback, ends up with Lewis combining with Osborne and Ladson. Oh my God. To side bottom, to Ball, intercept the loose ball, out of side, Ball gets wrapped up, but he gets it backwards. This time he goes to Shaw, he goes to Swan, he goes to Beams, to Pendlebury. Pendlebury on the left, kick, intended for Davis, couldn't take it cleanly. White Cross rode him, Davis, unbelievable second effort, gave it to Johnson, he fires, he couldn't, could he? No, he has one behind only. It was going to be goal of the year if he could have put that through. Couldn't. How many's Jonathan Brown got up to the Gabba, please? Collingwood 11-12-78. Hawthorn 4-9-33. Lockwood scoreboard.
And Carlton Draft stats, Jonathan Brown, he's kicked 1 goal. 1 goal, 1 for Vola, 2 goals, 4.
Talking about the ball use, Hawthorn have only had 13 long kicks, Collingwood 34. Hawthorn going far too short. I know that's their game plan, but tonight they've just gone far too short.
Great point, Brownie. Long kick from fullback this time, and guess what? They're going through the corridor through Osborne. 2 bounces, 1-on-1 to Brown in the square. Big Presty all over him. Rode him into the turf. No free kick. Play on, says the umpire. Swan's got it back pocket. They come back in numbers, the Pies. Short kick to Pendlebury across the goal. He's defending. Collingwood out of trouble at half-back.
They've got numbers everywhere. Collingwood, Pendlebury goes wide, finds McCaffer. He comes back inside and hits side bottom. Lamble over the top and wide is okay to Beams. Back to McCaffer. McCaffer now to side bottom. Racking up possessions. Side bottom to Pendlebury. He gives it to Beams. No, ignores him in the end. Then kicks to centre half forward. Kick is perfect to Thomas. He plays on. Gives it to Johnson. Johnson goes in the Davis direction. Over the top. Massive grab and has paid it. It was a huge leap, huge grab. Didn't hold it for long. The umpire said, so spectacular, I'll reward it. Was it a Mark Brownie OPSM replay?
No.
He's been given it.
Very, very lucky. Good leap though.
Great theatre.
Has he kicked goal of the year before? He has.
He did against Fremantle 2 years ago.
It's got to go in contention for Mark of the Year so far. Brownie said not long enough. Umpire overruled Nathan Brown and said, yes, you did. 4 minutes to play. Collingwood 78. Hawthorn 33 in the third term. Davis kicking at goal. Puts it across the face. 1 behind only. So 11 13.79 Hawthorn, 4.9.33 as we go around the grounds for the TAC up to the Gabba.
Feathers kicked his third in this third term to cut the margin back to 2 points. Brisbane 8-16-64, Bulldogs 10-6-66.
Guerra's kicked straight up the ground, but the Magpies had numbers behind the footy at half back. It's ended up with Pendlebury, Hamble to Medhurst, good tackle, Hodge, release of Hamble to Thomas, boundary line, members side, Hamble to Pendlebury again, looks short now to Lockyer, who leads inside forward 50 on the bounce, crashed into his teammate's side, bottom ball spills out, Big Jolly grabs it from 50, one step, loads up, won't be a goal, lands in the right forward pocket. Cloke was lurking, but punched away and through for a rush point to Collingwood. They go to 11-14-80. Hawthorn 4-9-33. We're 23 minutes third term. Triple M Lockwood scoreboard. Thanks to McDonald's. Triple M rocking Saturday night footy.
Hawks take it to the outer side. Ends up with Young, who pierces a ball long to Moss. But again, Collingwood amazingly defend. And it's Swan this time that spoils. Then goes and wins the loose ball. Then delivers it perfectly to Ball. He then gives it to Tuvey on his left. Goes to half forward. Cloke the target. Ends up with Beams. Dishes it to Davis. Around the corner, Leon goes. Leon has two. Great ball movement. Started with Swan out of sight. Leaps about 7 or 8 times. Finishes with Davis Citying. Collingwood march on. Collingwood 12-14-86. Hawthorn 4-9-33. It's now become a bit of a routing. 3 minutes to play, third term Lockwood scoreboard.
You're spot on, Hammer. It started from Dane Swan. Their defensive work tonight has been fantastic, Collingwood. He made up 20 metres to intercept that ball, brought it down, and then Leon Davis has kicked 2 snaps over his shoulder tonight for goals, but 3 set shots he's actually missed. So that says to me that Leon's much more comfortable having a snap around the body than a set shot at goal.
Hayne Carlton draft stats, that's the biggest margin of the night at 53 points.
2 goals, 3 tonight for Leon Davis, and he certainly sets the place alight when he grabs the footy. Bounce down in the centre. Thanks to McDonald's, Triple M rocking football, 24 and a half third term here at the MCG. Pies up by 53 points. They'll work it out of the middle again through Swan. Hamble to Didak, out wide on the winger. Hamble to Beams. The young man's got space. Low drop punt to Cloke was a ripper. He led the forward 50, read it beautifully, and directly in front of goal. They can have a shot. And Darren Jolly just went up to him, Brownie, and said, settle down, go back, have a shot.
Yeah, while he's 53 points up, he should be going back, making sure that he's got his confidence right and he's kicking. There's no need to give this one off. There's no need to play on, do something silly. Just go back, kick the goal, get your confidence back up. Because when you win them by 53 points, you can have the luxury to do these sort of things.
It'll be a long bomb, 53 metres. He loads up. The drop punt is close. It hits the post and goes through for one behind. Collingwood 12-15-87. Hawthorn 4-9-33. We've got about 2.5 minutes of game time left in this third quarter, thanks to the Triple M Lockwood scoreboard.
Ladson short in the end, finds Whitecross for the Hawks. Ball went about 15 metres just. Davis stands on the mark. Umpire says play on as Whitecross ambles around the boundary line, outer side, kicks to the wing, far side. Schoenmaker's the target, but again Collingwood have the numbers, and Cloke marks over the top of Schoenmakers. On the wing, just goes backwards via hand to Shaw. He goes to Swan. Swan holds the ball, then plays on. Kicks long, deep inside 50 to full forward. Lockie is there, so's Medhurst. Medhurst sharks it, fires a shot at goal, but just drags it back just a little too far. One behind only the result. So Collingwood have just dominated this game from start to finish. 12-16-88. They've been inaccurate. Hawthorn just as inaccurate. 4-9-33, big margin. Triple M Lockwood scoreboard.
How much more do we know about Hawthorn tonight, Hammer and Baz? I mean, they're getting a hiding. They've obviously got Lance Franklin and Josh Gibson out. But they just haven't looked like the side that people thought they might be this year.
Yep, they're going to turn around, Brownie, after last year and the flag, of course, in 2008 and the disappointment of 2009, not able to settle. And again, the start hasn't been great. And tonight, the Pies are giving them a fair hiding, 55 points up at this stage of the game, late in the third term. And they're in trouble every time when they get the footy. The pressure from Collingwood relentless. Lewis has got it at half-back, though, for Hawthorn. Kicks into the centre as Peterson tried for the mark, but Shaw read it better. Took the mark, goes long to Davis at full forward. Up one hand, taps it to the front of the pack. Lockyer ran in to try and shark. Handball to Davis. Davis across the body. Oh, and he's missed it pretty badly in the end from 15 out directly in front. That's usually bread and butter stuff for the great man, but no, a bit lackadaisical perhaps on the kick. He's disappointed. Collingwood will go to 12 goals, 17-89. Hawthorn 4-9-33, 27.5 third term. Triple M Lockwood scoreboard for the TAC. Please, Jim, what's happening at the Gabba?
Well, it's a goal to the Bulldogs. They've stretched out a mini lead, 7 points the margin, 72 v 65, 3.5 to go before three-quarter time.
What's that in the OPSM replay screen then? Leon Davis missed it from 10 metres. It was a snap. When you're snapping the ball, you don't want to get it on the belly of the football. If you kick it on the belly of the ball, which is the middle, it's always going to go off to the right. You need to kick it just on the point to make it spin around, and Leon was a bit lazy with his hand-to-foot coordination then.
Thoughts of Nathan Brown as the Hawks work the ball to centre-half back. It's taken a while for them to get there. It's been about 4 or 5 kicks and a lot of just dwelling. Now they go backwards to fullback, and Whitecross has it. So with 26 seconds to play, Collingwood dominate 12-17-89, Hawthorn 4-9-33 Lockwood scoreboard, and Hawthorn are just happy to see three-quarter time come, and Whitecross goes short again, 15 seconds to play, and wider again to Osborne, who marks in front of Shaw. So they haven't moved the ball outside the defensive 50 in the last 40 seconds following the Davis point, and as the siren sounds, it has been a very impressive 3 quarters for the Collingwood Football Club. 12-17-89. Hawthorn 4-9-33. The margin, man,
56 points.
After being 23 at quarter time and 46 at half time, it's now 53. The last change here, Saturday night football. Quickly Chew around the grounds for the TAC.
Bulldogs leading the Lions by 7 points, 11-6-72 to Brisbane, 8-17, 65-31 into the third.
Here it's the Maggies by 56 at three-quarter time. Thanks to McDonald's, Triple M rocks football.
This quarter was brought to you by Lockwood. When it comes to security, there's no substitute for Lockwood.
For McDonald's.
Triple M rocks football.
Hi, Luke Darcy from Triple M's Hot Breakfast. This is why you cannot afford to miss our show. This week we gave you the inside word on football when Eddie told us why Fever's gone public about his gambling problem.
He said last night to me, I'm quoting from the text message, "Yeah, mate, I'm fine. Just people talking again, so I thought I'd just put it to bed, mate. Get on the front foot."
He's getting help.
We like the comeback kids.
Yes,
Hard
he seems to be
that.
coming back a lot.
He's had a lot of fleas, but he's a good dog.
Triple M's Hot Breakfast. We're back Monday from 6.
Whoever you are, whatever you do, we put the U in CGU.
Hi Magpie fans, Nathan Buckley here. Anzac Day is one of the biggest sporting events on the Australian calendar. Tickets are hard to get, and we want the Magpie Army there in force this Anzac Day. For only $150, become an official member. Get a premium reserved seat to Anzac Day and home games against the Tigers and Crows, a 2010 members cap and finals ticket access. The Anzac Day membership can be yours by calling 1300 Magpie or by visiting the website at collingwoodfc.com.au. Go Pies!
While the other advertisers in this ad break want you to remember their products, we want you to forget ours. Because when you have a Lockwood lock on your door, you won't have to think about it again. Rest assured, it'll quietly protect your home and family every day. It's what we've done for more than 75 years. To see the new generation of Lockwood locks, visit lockweb.com.au. Leave your worries at the door and insist on Lockwood locks. If you haven't locked up with Lockwood, have you really locked up?
How to get rid of it, You want to see some creative disposals, mate? Get down to Melbourne City Toyota. Their used car special this week is the Corolla Ascent Auto. Choose a sedan or hatch in a range of colours for just $18,790. That's right, just $18,790 drive away. Plus you get a free iPod Touch or Navman with every car sold. Unbelievable deals at Melbourne City Toyota. Get in before the bounce. 621 Elizabeth Street City, LMCT 10618.
Nick the Tile Liquidator here. Tile Liquidators is the only tile company in Melbourne where every wall and floor tile is under $15 per square metre. At Tile Liquidators, we've got thousands of metres of wall and floor tiles displayed in one huge warehouse. And yes, right now, every tile is under $15 per square metre. So rush into Tile Liquidators now and save. Tile Liquidators, Smith Street, Port Melbourne, open 7 days.
Imagine a day when you don't have to worry about excessive sweating. A day where you don't have to worry about lifting your arms in public, shaking hands, or even blushing for no reason. If you suffer from sweaty hands, feet, and underarms, or even blushing, don't suffer in silence any longer. Do something about it. Get your confidence back with just one phone call to Northwestern Vascular on 9372 9999 or visit sweatyhands.com.au and find out how you can make that day a reality.
Hi Magpie fans, Nathan Buckley here. Anzac Day is one of the biggest sporting events on the Australian calendar. Tickets are hard to get, and we want the Magpie Army there in force this Anzac Day. For only $150, become an official member. Get a premium reserved seat to Anzac Day and home games against the Tigers and Crows, a 2010 members cap and finals ticket access. The Anzac Day membership can be yours by calling 1300 Magpie or by visiting the website at collingwoodfc.com.au. Go Pies!
For McDonald's.
Triple M rocks football.
This quarter is brought to you by Penrite, a better class of oil used by a better class of mechanic.
Penrite Oil went out to the Wanturna factory on Tuesday with JB, met the team out there, Brendan Burke and Gaz. 9 million litres of oil they produce out there. Unbelievable. Australian owned, all Australian employees. So when you go to the mechanic, just suggest that they use Penrite Oil. If they don't have it, go and grab a can. It is the best stuff. Go to penrite.com.au and you can find out exactly which type of oil is best for your sort of car. Let's go up to the Gabba. Two-man, please, for the TAC.
Favole's just kicked his fourth goal for the quarter and his fourth for the game. He's put the Lions in front. They lead by 6 points right on three-quarter time. Brisbane 10-18-78. Bulldogs 11-6-72.
A little bit of a preview. Choose View.
Choose View. Can't wait. I'm writing down plenty of notes and it's something that I think the everyday person will be able to relate to.
TAB Sports Bet, two-man, please.
Saw it flash on the scoreboard. It was $1 to $17. Of course, Collingwood's being the short odds.
$1. Pay for some mortgage if you need to. Brownie, what did Hawthorn do just in the last quarter to win back some respect? They trailed by an enormous margin and 56 points to be exact, and they've been impressive against Geelong, round 2. Okay against the D's, they smoked them. Last week against the Dogs, not bad, but tonight, just off the ball completely.
Yeah, it's not so much about winning respect back, I don't think. It's about getting their confidence. I mean, they need to play a good quarter here because they've got some very winnable games coming up. We spoke to Lance Franklin here before the game, and he decided that Hawthorn are a big chance. He thought they'd win the next 5 games, which would have them 7-2. He thought they were going to win tonight. They haven't won tonight, but they've got to get their house in order and their game in order in this last quarter. Have a bit of confidence going into these next winnable games because confidence is a huge thing in football. If they get blown out of the water in this last quarter, they're going to feel even worse than what they do now all week, and they're going to be worried about where we sit in the competition. We were pretty ordinary last year after winning the premiership. They'd have all these lingering doubts at the moment. In their premiership year, they only conceded 42 inside 50s per game against. Tonight they've already had 48, which you'd think would blow out to about 60 odd. So that's 20 over what they were allowing in their premiership year, which is a bad sign.
Thanks to McDonald's. Triple M rocking footy. Check out the new family dinner boxes at just $19.95 at participating McDonald's. Robbo on the boundary line.
Some real problems for Sam Mitchell, as we reported in that third term. Spasms in the back to the hamstring region, I think. He's on the pine. Worrying signs for the skipper.
Thanks, Robbo. Lewis out of the middle of the ground, goes forward for the Hawks. First breakaway goes the way of the Hawks, but again, Collingwood have the numbers at centre half back. They switch it to the wing where Pendlebury goes back inside to Johnson. Johnson on the left, kicks and hits Medhurst. Medhurst plays on from 55, hits Cloke, who runs and marks in front of Schoenmakers. 3 or 4 metres in from the boundary line, favours his left boot, decides not to go to goal, square things up to Lockyer. Renoff flies in front of him, gets a fist to it. It falls to Thomas. Thomas over the top to Jolly. Jolly goes backwards, Didak the target. He couldn't take it. Maxwell crashes through, tries to win the ball on the ground. Heap of Hawks jump on top of him. Umpire says it is not going anywhere, and I'll bounce it almost right on the point of the square. Attacking end for the Pies.
Footy in the turf, and we're underway again. Early stages, final term, with the Collingwood side up by 56 points. The Pies work it into the centre through Tuvey. He's kicked the half forward, is read by Rioli, who takes the mark for Hawthorn. Long kick back to Roughhead. 1-on-1 with Shaw. Used the body, Roughhead. Shows a turn of pace, ran onto it, but Shaw was right on his hammer and dragged him down on the kick. He kicked it out on the full. Left back pocket, it'll be taken by the Pies. They're in control. 12-17-89. Hawthorn 4-9-33. Triple M Penrite All scoreboard. Penrite is a higher rated all for every application. and they're made, Hamish, for Australian conditions.
Made by Australians as Prestigiacomo goes outside 50, falls to Roughhead. Little one to Cyril Rioli. He should finish this for the Hawks. Rioli unloads. Umpire hardly moves. Hawks have their fifth, and it's through Cyril Rioli. He gets his first of the night. Singles everywhere to the Hawks. Lewis, Bateman, Roughhead, Brown, and now Cyril Rioli. Collingwood 12-17-89. Hawthorn 5-9-39. It is a 50-point lead to the Collingwood Football Club. 2 minutes, two-man into this final term. Penrite All scoreboard.
Just some Carlton draft stats. Some low numbers here for the Hawks. Jordan Lewis just the 13 disposals, and Clinton Young in his comeback game just the 6 possessions. He's only played 65% of the game.
Any relation to Neil Young, two-man, famous Canadian folk rock singer?
Oh, you'd know all about that. You love your music, Barry.
Don't think so. Back in the centre of the ground, Collingwood 89, Hawthorn 39. 50 points is the margin to the Pies.
A bit of a crooner, Baz.
Oh, I like to belt out one every now and again, Brownie.
Oh, yep.
I like to belt one out every now and again. Not often. Late on a Saturday night, perhaps. Bounce in the centre, Jolly, Didak. Out of the middle, goes short to Thomas, back to Didak by hand. The Pies have been fantastic tonight. Low drop punt to half forward where Beams marks. Medhurst went short. Beams went long. Cloke, I think, was the target, but the kick off the side of the boot lands in the arms of Ellis for Hawthorn, who kicked it out to Osborne. Swan will spoil. The ball heads to the boundary line. Swan chases it, so does Osborne. Collingwood with the numbers again, though. Little handball to Johnson. Kick to the pocket to Fraser. Was he shoved in the back? Was he caught high? The umpire says yes, Baz, he was. And he'll get the free kick in the right forward pocket. Let's go down to Robbo on the boundary line.
Sam Mitchell just slinking into the back seat, put the tracksuit on, trying to hide. He's got the ice. I reckon he's iced up, ready to go for the rest of the game. So hamstring worry, and around the groin region. He's tried to sneak in and do that, but he's in strife. He won't. I don't reckon he'll take any more part in this game.
Seeing the advantage of Darren Jolly coming to Collingwood, being able to ruck, that allows Josh Fraser to push forward like he has now. This is his second shot at goal. He hasn't kicked one yet, but just another avenue of goal for Collingwood, who don't have a heap of avenues, and that's their downfall. But if Josh Fraser can go forward and kick a few, all the better. Right
forward pocket on the boundary line virtually, pushed it right and it stayed right, and it's a point to Collingwood. 12-18-90 now the Pies. Hawthorn 5-9-39. 4 minutes final term. Triple M Penrite All scoreboard.
What are they kicking the third term, please, Brownie or Chew, the Pies?
Yeah, they kicked 2 goals, 11 Carlton draft stats in the third quarter.
Brownie, last week the Pies couldn't get a goal in the last half. I know teams only allow you to do so much, but it either highlights how good St Kilda are defensively or how much you can change it around in a week.
I think it's a bit of both. I mean, you can change it week to week, but St Kilda are absolutely fantastic defensively.
Collingwood through Maxwell, long sweeping handball. It's Pendlebury. Pendlebury at centre half back, comes down the line to side bottom on the wing in front of the interchange gates. Side bottom, waits, then draws the player and then signals with the other hand for Davis to come at him. He kicks to Davis, ends up going over the back to Thomas, who handballs to himself, then kicks at goal. And Daisy Thomas, he's got 3. And an extraordinary bit of football for something that's never going to count. He ran out over the boundary line, and after he'd done all of the good work, the umpires had a chat. They're going to bring it back. As I was calling, thinking he's missed this, he's let it go, but he sort of pretended he had it in and didn't, and in the end it's a pretty disappointing goal. It never will be.
Didak and Campbell are having a bit of a crack at one another in front of you. I think Robbo down there, was there anything in it?
There was a little bit. There's a bit of spite, and they had 2 goes at each other. It was beautiful.
That'll be Campbell Brown, of course. So the boys had a bit of a crack late in the game. Early stages, final term. Guerra in the back pocket has it for Hawthorn. High kick to Rioli, who leapt over O'Brien. Brought it to ground for Ellis. You want to handball to Bateman, and does. He wants to run across the wing. He's got Brown, that man, at half forward. The kick didn't reach him. No penetration. And he sure read it pretty well off the boot. Dropped back at half back and took the mark. Handballs off to Swan. Kicks across the goal. He's defending to the big fella, Travis Cloke, and he takes the mark at half back for the Pies.
Cloke to Lockyer on the wing. Outer side of the ground. Lockyer. Hodge runs at him. Lockyer now kicks to half forward. A couple of targets. Medhurst is one. He's there with Fraser. Medhurst picks up the loose ball. Kick over the top. Well weighted for Johnson. He fumbled it. He ran into Murphy. Johnson then tries to win again. Murphy's there too. Crashing through Stratton. Ends up with Leon Davis. Kicks from about 4.5 metres out. Check side. And hits the goalpost. A wry smile from Leon. Collingwood 12-19-91. Hawthorn 5-9-39. Big lead. Penrite All scoreboard.
Clinton Young kicks it to himself, plays on for the Hawks. They've been under the pump tonight all night, only 5 majors for the game. Against Collingwood in their last 3 games, they've averaged 130 points each time. And tonight they languish on 39, 6.5 minutes into the final term. It's been all about the Pies tonight. Free kick in the centre. And it'll go back to Collingwood. Jolly claims it. No, he doesn't. He hands it back to Prestigiacomo, so he's got it. Handballs off to Heath Shaw. Nice little blind turn. Gets around one, then kicks long. The big Fraser at the back. Can't mark. Front and square was Thomas. Tackled as he grabbed the footy, though. Went straight up in the air with a handball. Gillam grabbed it. Pushed it back to his teammate in Guerra, who was pushed off his kick but got it out of defensive 50. Pendlebury read it pretty well. Handballed over to Medhurst. At half forward for Collingwood. Handballed a ball. He's in trouble. Back to Medhurst. Now to Thomas. Set sail from 40. Has it gone across the face or does it come back? It's close. He likes it. The goal umpire puts up 2 and says another one to the Pies. They go to 13-19, 97. That is his 3rd goal of the night. Hawthorn 5-9-39 on the Triple M Penrite All scoreboard. 7.5 final term for the TAC. Only a little bit over 2, man. You are a bloody idiot if you are. What's happening at the Gabba?
It's all tied up. Early stages, final quarter. 78 points apiece between the Brisbane Lions and the Western Bulldogs.
He's been good tonight, Dale Thomas. He's kicked 3, set up a few, but Paul Medhurst hasn't kicked a lot of goals tonight. I don't even think he's kicked 1, but what he's done team orientation wise, he's set up a fair few goals tonight. Paul Medhurst has been very good. Collingwood have been spreading from the stoppage is a hell of a lot better than Hawthorn tonight. And what we mean by we say it's spread from the stoppage, that's a reaction time of you reading the play when it's a stop ball or someone's been tackled or as a boundary throw in or ball up. You reacting quick enough to get out on your own to receive the ball. Collingwood have just done it quicker and harder tonight than Hawthorn.
Didak ends up with it in the middle of the MCG. Kicks to half forward. Cloke is there with Johnson. Coming through is Lee Brown. A chance for Ellis to pick up the loose ball for the Hawks and clear. He can't. He gets given a free kick though. He went in, got caught high. He actually hasn't moved.
No, he's not well.
Xavier Ellis, he might be out. Let's have a look at the OPSM replay, Brownie. Well, this was in the middle of the ground on Hodge. The OPSM hasn't come up on Ellis yet. Hodgie got hit high by Wellingham in the middle of the ground. So at half forward, Xavier Ellis lies in the middle of the MCG. Doctors attend to his head and neck as Luke Hodge comes from the ground. Looks like a blood rule. Looks like he's got blood streaming from his forehead. Xavier Ellis still motionless at centre half forward.
He's getting up now, which is good to see on the OPSM replay screen.
Might have gone nine-eyes, Brownie, for a little while.
Looks a bit shaky on his feet there.
I think he was initially right out. So.
He's gone back to ground after trying to get up. So the stretcher has gone out. The golf buggy's gone out. And we just see it on the OPSM replay there. It was the knee of Travis Cloke that got Xavier Ellis.
Just fell over his own feet a bit as the 2 players were coming together, Brownie, and in turn he's fell virtually into the knee of Cloke.
Yeah, just on the OPSM replay screen, the side of his head has gone into a Travis Cloke knee coming in, and completely accidental. He's actually fallen forward, so
collarbone. Do you think?
Wasn't anything wrong with what Travis Cloke did, but he's certainly going to be pretty sore. He looks to have got him near the shoulder, collarbone, side of the head region. So let's hope it's not a serious neck injury. We saw one last week to Patrick Dangerfield. Never like to see these incidents in football. So let's hope Xavier Ellis is okay. He's been pretty ordinary tonight, by the way, but let's hope that he pulls through this one.
29% kicking efficiency with 24 touches. And hey, thanks for the TAC around the grounds. I got TAB on my mind. I wish I'd laid a few. But anyway, it's all tied up. 78 points apiece between the Western Bulldogs and the Brisbane Lions. We're 5 minutes into the final quarter.
Take us through it. Call us up at the Gabba.
Up at the game.
A couple of minutes up our sleeve.
Well, we've got the Brisbane Lions. They've got the board deep inside their defensive area. Eagleton has a shot for goal off the ground, but it's hit the out of bounds post. Out in the full. Free kick will go to the way of the Lions, tucked in the right back pocket region. It's all tied up, Hames. 78 points apiece. 5 minutes into the final quarter.
And here it's 13-19-97 as 2 men gets applause from the box. Hawthorn 5-9-39, 10 minutes and 46 gone. But it is Xavier Ellis who is in the hands of the trainers. He's on a stretcher and we hope he is okay. He got hit high. Travis Cloke caught him sort of collarbone, neck, head region, and Xavier, we just saw him move his head and look up on the stretcher, which is at least a good sign. And we have a look at the OPSM replay again. It was just Travis Cloke as Xavier dived on the ball, got hit high. So tough for Travis Cloke to see that happen, but we all hope that Xavier is okay. And it's times like this you hope the family isn't watching. been a few go down in the last few weeks. Ryan Hargraves last week, Two-Man, had a very similar scenario, went to hospital. As Brownie said, Rodney Dangerfield went off for the Crows. We've had a lot of injuries, and play's just halted here as we go back up for the TAC. Here's Two-Man taking us through just the next 30 seconds of play.
They're still all tied up. It's 78 points apiece. 6 minutes into the final quarter. The Bulldogs home currently have it at half-back flank on the member stand side. They're working their way up to centre wing, still in the member stand side, to a 1-on-1 contest between Barry Hall, who, by the way, has kicked 4 majors tonight for Carlton draft stats. The ball's out of bounds, centre wing, member stand side. It's all locked up.
How's this for a multi-bit over the weekend? It's taking a long time to get Xavier off the field, but Hawthorn can... Collingwood... I gave Hawthorn 18 points head start, so I've got this one covered. Into Geelong. Geelong have to beat Port by over 22. Into St Kilda have to beat Fremantle by over 18. Into the Brisbane game, which is on tonight. So I've given Brisbane 26 start, so it looks like I'm going to get that one as well. Into Richmond winning at quarter time. Into Melbourne for a return of 220 odds, $16,517 I'll collect tomorrow.
You're hook. Let's go down to Rob on the boundary.
Who said we haven't got gambling problems?
Xavier Ellis. They didn't put the brace on his neck, so that lends the fact that it may be down past the neck collarbone region. And don't forget Sam Mitchell off the ground. They're playing too short, the Hawks.
So Guerra in the back pocket has given it to Hawthorn to half-back, where the mark is taken by Brown. And Brown now at half-back is spending most of the night up forward. Hasn't been a lot of supply for him. Handball to Birchall. Kicked the young Stratton, who read it pretty well. Took a nice overhead mark. Leapt from the back over Didak. A one grabber. A short kick across half-back to Gillum. And Gillum marks right in front of the Hawthorn bench, which is looking pretty sad and sorry at the moment. Short kick to Whitecross, who marks in front of us here. Triple M rocking Saturday night footy. 13.5 final term. 97 plays 39. Triple M Penrite all scoreboard. Collingwood in control. Short kick to Osborne. On the wing he chips inboard. Missed the target. It was going to happen. And side bottom's got it. Kicks into the centre to Lockyer. Handballs off to Wellingham from 60 out. Long bomb. Davis has got to go up in the square. Davis has got it. One hand tapped it in the air and then pulled it down with the other. And he's going to put a little bit of cream on the cake for the pies, Nathan.
I enjoy the confidence that Leon Davis has and the arrogance that he walks back with. He's just taken a mark and he's just walked back as if it was the easiest thing he's ever done in his life. It's like opening a door for Leon, and he's put it through and he's been very good tonight.
Kick 3, one in the second, one in the third, and one in this final term. Collingwood go to 14-19, 103. Hawthorn 5-9, 39. Triple M Penrite all scoreboard for the TAC, Two-Man. Have we got a leader at the Gabba? Scores were tied up 2 minutes ago.
We have Brisbane by 1 point. Brisbane 10-19, 79 to the Bulldogs 12-6, 78. 9 minutes into the final quarter.
So here at the MCG, it is Collingwood handsomely 14-19, 103. Hawthorn 5-9, 39. And the injury woes continue to mount for the Hawthorn Football Club. Two-Man, how many do we think were out of their best 22 coming into this match?
We racked up 6 at halftime, Carlton draft stats.
Xavier Ellis, he's got real problems down on the boundary line. Ran into Travis Cloke's knee at half forward, out on the stretcher. He went from this Coliseum that is the MCG. Collingwood continued on their merry way. They came into this match 2-1, sitting in 7th. They're going to have a big win here over the Hawks.
Hayne, Carlton draft stats inside 50s of 57-27 Collingwood's way. Hawthorn's lowest inside 50 tally ever is 33.
Well played, Two-Man. Collingwood 103, Hawthorn 39. A chance here for the Hawks. It ends up with Osborne. He gets it stolen off him by Pendlebury though. Didak to Johnson, back to Pendlebury, now to Wellingham. He kicks to half forward. Didak runs onto it. You love him in this situation to do something clever. This time he doesn't. Loses it, gives it to Guerra with a little look-away handball. He goes to Hodge, to Birchall, to Brown, now to the outer side. We've got Gillum who goes down the wing, and it's a diving mark to Bateman. Hawks still a chance now with a long ball inside 50. It's no good at all. It's taken and cut off, this time by Shaw. It's centre half back for the Pies, and he nonchalantly goes wide to Swan.
Had a good night tonight, Two-Man. What do the Carlton drafts tell us about his Shaw?
He's racked up 21 disposals, 81% kicking efficiency.
So he's got it back again, virtually at full back, thanks to McDonald's Triple M rocking footy. Check out the new family dinner boxes from just $19.95 at participating McDonald's. There's the value dinner, the favourites dinner. And of course, they're packed with food everybody loves, or there's something a little bit fancy. There's the selections dinner featuring 2 Angus burgers. Grab one tonight. You can get one still up till 11 o'clock. Still plenty of time to head down to Macca's and grab a beautiful meal, Hamish. I know that you and I are going to head down there later on and have a 3-courser.
Angus burger, very good, as Collingwood brings it down to the wing. Broadcast side, Cloke from side bottom receives, and Cloke, a couple of juggles, marks in front of Shinemakers. Now Cloke off a couple of steps, launches it inside the 50. Davis lurks out the back, but it's a fist in the end from Guira that sees the ball over the boundary line. 60 around from the Collingwood goal. Collingwood 14-19, 103. Hawthorn 5-9-39 in front of 67,668. And up at the Gabba, Jonathan Brown is kicking at goal. 2 men, what's the score?
It's the Lions by 3 points, 10-21-81 to the Bulldogs 12-6-78. As you said, Brown having a set shot for goal.
Talk us through it.
He's starting his approach. He's on a very tight angle, about 40 metres out. Drop punt on its way, and he's missed it. Hasn't registered a score. Out of bounds on the full stove. 3 points the margin favourite, Brizzy.
Oh, Hawks in trouble at half back. Davis, a little handball to Didak. That was fantastic footy. Leon has come to play tonight, and he's been fantastic, not only in scoring 3, added supply to his teammates as well. Didak's got one, and that's his second for the night. Collingwood go to 15-19, 109. Hawthorn languishing on 5-9-39. They've got trouble on the bench, they've got trouble on the ground, the Hawks. 18 minutes final term. Triple M Penrite all scoreboard.
The amount of times Hawthorn has kicked into the man on the mark or just grubbed one straight at Collingwood tonight's been extraordinary, Hamish McIntosh. McLaughlin. And Alan Didak, has there been a left footer in recent years that you can think of that's got a good right foot? Not often has a left footer got such a good right foot, but every time he's turned on his right tonight, Alan Didak has made Hawthorn pay.
Collingwood 15-19, 109. Hawthorn 5-9-39. In the middle, the umpire bounces again. Didak gets near it again, but Hodge goes off the ground, kicks it to half forward for the Hawks. Morton is there. The Hawks really want a couple just to try and win a quarter at least. Osborne to Ladson. He goes long and high underneath it. Renoff, never really a chance. Peterson picks up the loose ball, fires a goal around the corner. He might have done something really special. He has. Peterson, Karcher goal of the day. Certainly a competitor for it. That was clever, special. Left forward pocket. OPSM replay, Brownie, it's yours.
Yeah, certainly was a fantastic goal. Just settled himself around the body, and the Indigenous boys, they know how to do it from the boundary. They know how to kick snaps, and he looked like he was shelling peas then, but he's been a bit quieter tonight. He's had a good start to his career, Carl Peterson. Only the 9 Carlton draft stats so far tonight, so he's found it a bit hard along with all of his Hawthorn mates. But it's an interesting, football's an interesting game. Round 1, Collingwood came out, they battled the Dogs. We thought, geez, they're premiership material. Week 2, Melbourne, we're not sure, just fell over the line. Last week, everyone was jumping off the bandwagon because they lost against St Kilda, but then again tonight, now they're 70 points up again. You start thinking, geez, they're pretty good.
Magpies by 64 at the MCG. Saturday night football, 10.5 minutes to play in this round 4 game. Peterson shelling peas at one end, Leon Davis opening doors at the other, and both are up for the Karcher goal of the day. Karcher high pressure cleaners use up to 80% less water with up to 35 times more power than a garden hose, Barry Dennett.
Footy's gone nowhere, Hammer. Still in the centre of the ground, 2 bounces, and it is all locked up. What about at the Gabba for the TAC, 2 men? Another update.
We've got Brisbane leading the Bulldogs by 3 points, 10-21-81. Bullies 12-6-78, halfway into the final quarter.
Oh, Lions at home, you'd reckon. Lewis has got it on the wing for Hawthorn, but he was tackled, and his handball went straight to Daisy Thomas, who gave the long handball to side bottom. Little one out the back to Beams. He bombs long inside. This time Davis caught behind, and Murphy just thumped it out of mid-air with a boot. Gained 40 metres out of the danger zone. Swan tries to wrap it up. Roughhead was with him though. His underground handball went straight to side bottom. Short kick to Didak, 45 out. A little one to Pendlebury. Pendlebury now long from 40, fires and hits the post. Collingwood 15-20 now, that's 110. Hawthorn 6-9-45, 21 final term. Triple M Penrite all scoreboard.
You just love watching Pendlebury play. He's such a great mover of the football. He looks good, he looks classy. It's like when you're sitting at a cafe and a really good looking girl walks past. You just love to look at it, you love to watch.
Can't take your eyes off as Hawthorn bring it down the wing, broadcast side. Nice series of handballs and passes, ends up with Osborne. He kicks to centre half forward. This is where they've been breaking down. Fist comes from the Pies. Morton picks up the loose ball, fires from about 50, and around the corner, a funny sort of a kick's gone straight through the middle. So Morton has brought up the Hawks 7, but it is still Collingwood well ahead. Collingwood 15-20, 110. Hawthorn 7-9, 51. That's all on the Triple M Penrite All scoreboard. OPSM replay was sort of a snap from 50 as he was running straight at it, high up and under. Result, major for the Hawks.
Got a good piece of it, he did. Morton, he's been pretty ordinary tonight. He's only had the 12 touches and 50% at kicking efficiency, but a couple of late highlights on an otherwise gloomy night for Hawthorn, those last 2 goals. And I mean, this game's been over and done for a while, but Hawthorn just need to keep going, need to keep fighting it out, because at the end of the year, percentage is very important. You'd think Hawthorn are going to figure in the finals, and they want to make sure their percentage is up there.
Carlton draft stacks Barry, 27 touches a side bottom. That's a PB for him. Equal most number of score involvements with 13.
He's had a good night, but a great name too. Steele side bottom, the kick out of the wing. There's Didax, and he handballs to O'Brien. Collingwood into attack again. Beautiful long handball to Wellingham. High kick to half forward. Davis has got eyes on it, but in front this time for the Hawks. Just chipped in front of Davis. Big run off, and he took the mark 20 metres from the goal. He's defending. Couple of big injuries tonight, Robbo, for the Hawks down on the boundary line. Perhaps for those supporters driving away from the ground, they would be by now. Just give us another rundown on the Hawthorn bench.
Well, Xavier Ellis is just walking around the boundary line, just joining his teammates. That's tremendous guts from what happened to him. He got knocked clean out. The centre-half back had to be transported off, and he's joined Sam Mitchell in the back blocks of the interchange bench. So Mitchell with a hamstring, it looks like, and Ellis up and about, which is a good sign.
In the meantime, a very short kick from the pack came to Jolly, and he's taken the mark for the Pies. A former Swan, they love him here at Collingwood. They're pushing Fraser up forward. He's created another option, and he's going to have a shot for goal. 45 out, better than a 45-degree angle. He kicked one already tonight, that being in the first term. Steps up to the plate, right boot. He had a long time looking at the goals, but the kick wasn't great. Missed everything, out of bounds on the full.
Baz and Hamish, this is something Collingwood are going to get right, because if they play a good side like they did last week and kick points against St Kilda, they lost the game. Tonight they're getting away with it because they're so far in front, but 15 goals, 20, a lot of them have been easy kickable goals, and against better opposition. Hawthorn are a very good opposition, mind you, but last week found wanting. They need to get this goal kicking right. They need to put scoreboard pressure on the good sides.
We'll just talk about that, Brown. I mean, you talked about how hard it is to get a form line as the ball goes out over the boundary line, out of sight of the ground. The umpire's about to unload. Hawthorn were terrific against Geelong, and the Pies, I think, in that same week looked really tough. How big a form sort of ride up and down is there week to week? Is it hard to stay consistent?
The good side seem to be able to do it, but you look at Hawthorn, they should be, with seasoned campaigners out there, they've got a lot of senior players out there, they should be doing pretty much the same thing every week. There shouldn't be blowouts like this. But in saying that, in one of Geelong's premiership years, you remember they lost by 81 points to Collingwood and then come back and thumped them 8 weeks later in the final. So it's sometimes you just have a bad day.
Pies go forward again through Thomas. They've been fantastic tonight. They lead by 59 points. Free kick in the marking contest will go to Davis, I think. But Leon will go back, or will it go to the other player that was with him in Big Jolly? Leon's holding onto the footy. He looks at the umpire and says, is it mine? He says, give it to him. So Jolly's got it directly in front. Surely this time, Brownie, from 15 out directly in front. The big fella puts it through. The Pies have had a terrific night here at the MCG. That's his second. And Collingwood go to 16-20, 116 comprehensive tonight over Hawthorn, who are 7-9-51, 25 final term. Triple M Penrite All scoreboard. Nathan Brown for Triple M footy.
Yeah, 6 goals, 10 from stoppages. We were talking about percentage before, and as it stands tonight, Collingwood will go from 103% to 122, which is plus 19, and Hawthorn will go down from 111 to 92. So once you get below that 100% mark, when you're 8th, 9th, 10th on the ladder, that's when you're in some trouble. Extra percentage at that time of the year can be like an extra win.
Up at the Gabba for the TAC, please, Chu.
Brisbane have now opened up a 16-point lead. Lions 12-22, 94. Bulldogs 12-6, 78. 20 minutes into the final quarter.
Magpies by 65 here. Where does that put the Maggies on the live ladder, Chu?
They're currently in 5th position. As Brownie said, their percentage has gone up by almost 20.
In the middle of the ground, Lewis wins it away for the Hawks. Kicks to half forward. Johnson's there too for the Magpies. He fumbles and then kicks and then sort of drags it along the ground in the favour of Daisy Thomas, who eagerly just picks it up and then fires the ball down the line to Johnson. He gives it, to Fraser. He gives it to Pendlebury. Pendlebury draws the man. Handballs over the top to Wellingham. But Wellingham gets wrapped up out of side by Birchall, and they all ball it in. 7 minutes to play in this last term. Collingwood 16-20, 116. Hawthorn 7-9, 51. And it is Fraser and Renoff who do the ruck work out of side. In the end, it's Young who finds the ball and gives it to Guira. He goes into the middle of the ground. Rioli taps it onto himself, runs onto the loose ball. Freakish stuff. Has a couple running him down. He handballs over the top to Peterson. Peterson receives it from Rioli. And he kick his second in the term. Goes to the top of the square. Roughhead picks it up. Gets dragged over the line. Couldn't get his foot to it. One behind only to the Hawks. Let's just go back to Rioli. That was freakish, Brownie.
Yeah, he was running for the ball with Harry O'Brien behind him. Didn't try and grab it. Tapped it up over the back of his head. Did the turn, so he knew when he was going to turn. Harry O'Brien didn't, and worked out for him. And freakish players can do those sort of things, and it's a beauty to watch.
Collingwood worked it to the wing. Wellingham, long kick to the leader. Cloke off half forward, short one to Beams. Right on forward 50, 45-degree angle. Wanted a handball off to Pendlebury, elected not to in the end, and he'll go back and have a shot.
The standard of this last quarter has been quite entertaining compared to the first three.
The Beams goes long to the goal square. Jolly won't get there, and Brown drops back for the Hawks, puts a fist on it and through for a rush point to Collingwood. 16-21 now the Pies. 117 they are. Hawthorn 7-10-52. Triple M Penrite all scoreboard. Thanks to Macca's Triple M rocking Saturday night footy.
Chance Bateman, man. Can you track how much a player runs during a quarter?
Check for Chance Bateman too.
What did I say?
Chance.
I don't think I have the software on this computer, Hayne, but I can find out for you.
We'll check for both Chance and Chance, and we'll see if either come up. Meanwhile, the Pies win the ball again out of side. They've been terrific tonight. Pendlebury has it on the wing out of side. Goes to Ball. He goes backwards to Swan. He goes sideways to Johnson. Ben Johnson shrugs the Luke Hodge tackle. Comes to the wing. Then a little kick cute over the top. He's good to Ball. Plays on to Didak. Still 70 from home. Inside the Barron line by a few metres. Goes to his right boot. Hits Cloke. He drops it. Fumbles it. Umpire says he didn't have it long enough. Walks through a series of 4 or 5 handballs. Finds Stratton. And he brings it to the members' side. And White cross marks for the Hawks. Half-back flank. On his right, he goes short and hits Gillum.
So Gillum wants to get on with it. Along the boundary line, 30-metre kick to Clinton Young. Chips it inboard towards Birchall. He's got it. Trusty left boot will go this time to Murphy. Still on the wing they are. Very short kicks. A handball back to Birchall. Another short one to the leader off half forward in Morton. This time dropped the mark. He's hit the ground. The ball underneath him. The umpire waits and then it will ping him. See it coming a mile away. And a free kick to Collingwood. It's Ball with the ball, and he handballs to O'Brien, a handball to Didak. They're on the charge again, the Pies. Thomas has got it by hand now. Short kick to Big Lee Brown. Coming the other way was Campbell Brown. Flattened him the ball on the turf. Lee Brown gets up on his haunches. And he's okay. Gee whiz, there was a clash of a couple of Titans. Brownie.
I'll tell you what, when you're going back with a fight like Lee Brown was then, and you don't know what's coming, there'd be one bloke in the opposition side who you wouldn't want to be coming the other way, and that's Campbell Brown.
Rid of the teeth too.
Unbelievable, Campbell Brown. He plays everywhere. He's forward, he's back, he's mid, he does a lot of work for the Hawks.
He's got his agates going.
Murphy.
He got one in the nether regions there, Baz.
Gives it to Lewis. He goes wide to Schoenmakers. Schoenmakers at centre half back. Comes through the middle of the ground. A chance. He hits White Cross. White Cross runs. Shaw gets the best of it. Meets it. He kicks the ball off the ground. Rioli goes to it hard. Gets there before Shaw does. Runs. Little handball in the White Cross direction. In the end, it's Swan. They combine with Johnson. Go backwards in the end to Shaw. And he kicks long down the line. And he finds Cloke. Still a long way from home, about 80 out, just a couple of metres in from the boundary line out of sight. He brings the ball inside to Ball, does Cloke, who handballs over the top to Didak. Not a clean handball. Didak drops to hands and knees, then ducks and weaves through a few, gives it to O'Brien and receives it back. Now Didak, long ball inside 50. He finds his man McCaffer. Handballs, plays on. No. Davis wanted it, ran past flat out. McCaffer said, just give me some time. Some time in the sun. He'll go back and kick from 40. Not a heap of angle. Punt road end. Collingwood 16-21, 117. Hawthorn 17-52. Pies home and a percentage builder at that. Around the grounds, two-man, TAC.
We've got the Lions leading the Bulldogs by 17 points. There's only a minute and a half to go before full-time. Sherman having a set shot from 30 out directly in front. He's put it through.
And McCappa here, set shot 35-40 out. Straight in front, not quite. Close enough, straight through the middle. So McCappa, who's only ever celebrated 5 birthdays in his life because he was born on the 29th of February, kicks his first for the night. And the 5-year-old looks pretty happy. 31.5 gone final term. Collingwood 17-21, 123. Hawthorn 7-10, 52. And they go into round 5 with 3 wins the Pies and just the 1 loss. Big percentage. Hawthorn 1 win only, 3 losses. And then we'll look ahead to the weeks ahead. But can't be too much to play. 32 minutes gone. Final term, Triple M Penrite All scoreboard.
71 points the margin to the Pies. And they have mauled the Hawks tonight. Been all over them from the word go. The first term, they were out to a 23-point lead at quarter time, and they've just gone on with the business since. Bounce down in the centre. Lewis fights for it at ground level. Ball's right on top of him for the Pies. Gillum on top of him. The umpire will look to do it all over again. Tied bodies out there now. The Hawks bench, as you've heard, down to just the 2, and they've been under pressure since, of course, Sam Mitchell's been off the ground. And Ellis as well. We've got a blood rule out in the centre of the ground, so that'll extend the time a bit, Brownie, with Luke Ball coming off. Not uncommon to a bit of blood on his body. He's been hard at it right throughout his career at the bottom of plenty of packs.
Yeah, Collingwood over the next few weeks. They've got the next 3 games here at the MCG. They've got Essendon, which you'd think they'd win that game. You've got Carlton, you'd think they'd win that game. North Melbourne here at the MCG, and then they've got Fremantle at Subiaco. So 3 winnable games, and then the one over at Subiaco was a tough one. Hawthorn, North Melbourne down at Tassie. They've got Essendon here at the MCG. They've got West Coast over at Subi, and then they've got the Tigers at the MCG. So not a bad run either. We heard Lance Franklin before the game say that they should win the next 5. So they've dropped this one.
So Brown's got it at half-back for Hawthorn. Had Luke Ball look coming off down there, Robbo?
Just a belt in the snout, just losing a bit of claret out of the nose, but he's okay.
Birchall to Roughhead, little handball to Morton, tried to get it to Bateman by hand, missed the target. Swan was there, just tried to chip it up for Prestigiacomo at half-back by his boot. Did pretty well in the end. Big Presti grabbed it, handball back to Swan. He got a kick to McCaffrey on the wing, going to be run down, but he's got time to handball back into the centre to Brown. Big Lee Brown out to Penderbury on the wing. Handballs back towards Wellingham, and he'll bomb the Pies to forward 50.
Kicks inside 50, not a great kick in the end, and it's cut off. And Gillum takes a diving mark in front of Lockyer. Gillum goes wide with the left. Hodges the target, the Warrior ambles and sort of waddles as he so often does, looking lame, goes backwards to Murphy by hand, and then kicks to Osborne, who goes wider and finds his man in Young. How many for Young in his first game back, please, Chu?
Yeah, just the 9 disposals, 73% game time.
Young goes to Lewis, he marks at 50 and goes in short and finds Whitecross, about 40 out, not much of an angle. Full time up at the Gabba, please, Chu, for the TAC. Who won?
Brisbane by 22 points. Brisbane 13-23, 101 to the Bulldogs, 12-7-79 for Vola, 4 majors, and Jonathan Brown kicked 2. And Barry Hall 4 for the Bullies.
The 20-year-old Brendan Whitecross trying to kick his first of the night, trying to kick the Hawks 8th. He kicks across the face. I think one behind only to Brendan Whitecross. So Collingwood 17-21, 123. Hawthorn 7-11, 53. We've played 35 minutes, and it'll be a long quarter with Xavier Ellis coming off, being on the stretch for a while. And we have a look at the Hawks bench. We've got Rioli, Ellis, and Mitchell all looking like forlorn figures.
Very sad.
We were there too.
Very sad down there. But the Pies are happy. Heashaw's got it at fullback. Goes short to Johnson. And they've bounced back after their loss to St Kilda last week in magnificent fashion. Long handball out to the outer side wing. Swan's got it. He's got players running everywhere. Wellingham running alongside him. Gives it to him. He goes long. Davis underneath it inside forward 50. Punches it down to Medhurst. Umpire's whistle's gone again. This time a free kick to Murphy. Right back pocket for the Hawks. They've had a fair wrestle, those two, Murphy and Davis, tonight. Murphy handballs across the goal. He's defending to Peterson. The young man goes short to Osborne on defensive 50, and momentarily the Hawks are out of trouble. Hammer.
He goes to Brown, who goes through the middle of the ground. His kick is good, finds Moss, who doesn't take a step, just swings the left leg and finds Bateman, centre half forward. He handballs on straight away. Morton will run into an open goal. He'll kick his second for the term and his second for the night. and it just beats the siren. Collingwood run out winners 17-21, 123. Hawthorn 8-11-59. The margin 64 points at the MCG. Get home in emphatic style. Collingwood 17-21, 123. Hawthorn 8-11-59. Two-man was a 64-point win. The major goal scorers, please, for a very impressive Collingwood outfit.
For the Magpies, 3 each to Davis and Thomas, 2 to Didak and Jolly, and for the Hawks, their only multiple goal scorer was Morton, with 2 majors for Carlton Draft.
And under Medhurst tonight?
Paul Medhurst on the Carlton Draft stat sheet didn't kick a goal, but he racked up 17 disposals and gave off quite a few as well.
Thanks, Two Men. Choose View coming up in about 15 minutes' time. Jump on the lines if you're a delighted Pie fan. The IGA Liquor Open line 133353. The local with a lot. If you're a Pie fan, drop into IGA and just grab whatever you feel like drinking, because they are home tonight by 64 points. And according to Chu on the live ladder with the conclusion of the game up at the Gabba, they currently sit in
5th spot on the ladder, and their percentage has climbed up another 20% at 122.82 with 3 wins.
And can anything change tomorrow? There'll be another side with 3-1 given Freo playing the Saints. That's how Collingwood currently sits, so they could actually climb quite a degree higher.
Yeah, if Fremantle get absolutely smacked by St Kilda, they could displace Fremantle, move up into the top 4 for Carlton Draft.
Okay. Nathan Brown. It was impressive, Collingwood. An injury-depleted Hawks by the end of the game, but at the start there were no excuses, and it was at half-time 46 points, at three-quarter time 56 points, and at full-time 64. Hawks fans will be disappointed, Pies will be delighted.
They certainly would. The Hawks fans would be very disappointed, and it started from the first bounce. Collingwood took the first bounce of the day clearly out of the centre. A couple of handballs and having a shot at goal very early. They missed that one, but they certainly kicked a few after that. It was 5-0 at one stage. Collingwood jumped out of the blocks and they were never headed. Hawthorn just continually turned the ball over. Collingwood's pressure was as good as I've seen. St Kilda very good with their pressure tonight. Collingwood forced Hawthorn into a lot of turnovers. Hawthorn had their equal lowest inside 50s in the history of the club, 33 tonight, and Collingwood had their second highest ever, which is 70. So, I mean, those two stats alone suggest to me a blowout.
What was their highest ever inside 52?
74 back in 2001 for the Magpies.
You're a freak, Stuart. It is the club song, as we see on the OPSM replay screen. Sometimes the club songs are sung with gusto it was tonight. Round 2 against the Demons. They hardly sung it at all, the Pies, but I reckon they're pretty happy with how things went tonight. Round 4 action at the MCG. They are victors by 64 points. And Thomas and Davis had 3 each, as two men said. Didak and Jolly a couple each. In front of 68-odd thousand.
67,668, Haim.
Well, if you like the way they played, get on the line. 133353, the IGA Liquor Open line. And give us your thoughts. Nathan Brown and Ashley Chua, the two men in the back row. Right now, though, it's time to go down to Paul Medhurst and Michael Roberts. They're in the Collingwood rooms. Go for it, Robbo.
Massive week last week for the club. Had to turn it around. Headlines all over the place. But playing against Hawthorn, they wanted to win. So did you. Big crowd, and you've done it.
Yeah, it was it was a pretty intense type of week. There was stuff going on sort of left, right and centre, and coming off a pretty hard game, and they did too, so they were a little bit flat tonight, so I think we got them at a good time.
What impressed me is you turned up and your tackling was first class, and you're up on stats everywhere, so you came with the mood to win this one and knock it on the head early.
Yeah, I mean, they've had the wood over us the last sort of 3 years, I think, so that's the only way you're really going to beat them, with maximum pressure, and we really pushed them hard and tried to force errors, and we did it well.
Paul, we spent a fair bit of time talking about you before the game, and I said that you were the X factor of the club. You were the one who needed to stand up and kick some goals and to win the game for them. Tonight you didn't kick any goals, but you had 17 touches, 8 score involvements, and tonight you seem more intent on team play and giving it off, and I thought you were very good tonight.
Yeah, thanks a lot. The other guys kicked. Obviously Leon had, I think, 8 shots on goal, and a couple of the other guys chipped in, so I was just happy to get a little bit more of the ball and get my confidence up.
Paul, 08 was a stellar year for you, all-Australian leading goal scorer, and ankle injury and other bits and pieces. You didn't finish off the year, obviously, as you would have liked, being dropped after the semi. Where do you find yourself at the moment? Are you just trying to build confidence? Is your body fit? Because when you're on fire, the Collingwood faithful worship you.
Yeah, the body's 100%, so no excuses there. I'm just really trying to build, cliched, but just build on every week and build on my confidence back with my teammates, because I really sort of tapered off there towards the end of the year, missing the biggest game of the year, so just trying to sort of get back in the fold.
Now, there was a moment there where Travis Cloke had a free kick and it came off the hands and you played on and kicked a nice goal across your body, but the umpire called it back. Does that really infuriate you that the umpire didn't bother to look, that you kicked the goal and that would have been one on your score sheet?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, you need the cheapies just to sort of keep the goals ticking over, because they add up to about 10 or 12 at the end of the year, so hopefully next week.
Paul, your coach has had a tough week, but you've rallied behind him as a group, and I think you might have put a smile on his face tonight.
Excellent, yeah. I mean, Mick looks good with a smile, so hopefully we'll see one.
How often does he smile?
Not very often.
Did he smile tonight?
Yeah, he's got a nice smirk.
Tell me, so far this year, round 1, you guys went up against the Western Bulldogs, thumped them. Next week, just got home against the D's. Last week, it was a tough old assignment on Friday Night Football, and now you've beaten the Hawks. You're 3-1, you're flying along. Where do you see yourselves as a group compared to previous years? And, are you as strong as you've ever been, or are you missing something?
I think we're pretty strong, across the board without really having had a real breakout. Tonight was a strong performance, but without Franklin and they had heavy legs, it's really, again, I wouldn't say it's a breakout game. So we've been really consistent across the board, but I think in the coming weeks, I think Trav will kick a bag, or we'll have a couple of guys really sort of take the game by the scruff of the neck like Leon did tonight.
Goal kicking's obviously been the problem for the Pies, and people saying you haven't got a big tall forward to kick the amount of goals. John Anthony, where does he fit into it, and would you like him back in the side?
Yeah, definitely want Jack back. He's he's a really good player, kicked 50 goals for us last year, but I just think it just must be matchups at this stage. But the way he's handled himself has been amazing, so hopefully he'll be back next week if he has a good game.
Paul saw Nathan Buckley in the box tonight. He was on the ground a lot before the game. How's he been around the club? You've enjoyed having the old champ, the Brown?
I love it. He's so passionate and he's so knowledgeable, and he's really passed that on to the forwards group and the player group as a whole.
Now, there was someone in the box before the game, I can't remember who it was, that said you would nail polish sometimes, Paul. Is that true?
Not for many years, and not generally in Australia, so I keep that for overseas. Good thinking.
Paul, thank you for your time tonight. Well played, and good luck for the rest of the season.
Thanks for your time, guys.
Thanks, Paul. Paul Medhurst, leading goal scorer in 08, All-Australian in 08, tough year in 09, but he's bouncing back, and hopefully he's going to play a big part in the Pies' assault as they head towards September. Jump on the Triple M IGA Liquor Open Line 133353. Have a look at scenes out of the Hawthorn rooms. They're dejected. They're sitting there eating bits of pizza and other bits and pieces, but they look very, very, very disappointed. 133353, the IGA Liquor Open Line. Tonight it was the Pies by 64 and up at the Gabba, man.
The Brisbane Lions got owned by 22 points over the Western Bulldogs.
Thanks to McDonald's. Triple M rocks football.
This quarter was brought to you by Penrite, a better class of oil used by a better class of mechanic.
For McDonald's.
Triple M rocks football.
Triple M's back to how it should be.
No more crap music.
Or shows that laugh at their own jokes.
Now,
Every morning,
we've got Eddie Maguire, Luke Darcy, Mika Buchan and Tony Moclair with Triple M's Hot Breakfast.
and all day at work.
The music's back to rock. Classic and new. After 30 years,
The station you grew up with
is back.
105.1
Triple M.